Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Along with Anthony. He's on the panel. We have no idea why, but here he is.
I'm stat padding today. That's what I'm doing. I've done everything else. I've directed, I've produced, I've done remote shows. I've never been on panel for 2 hours. So
well, now you are.
Hello.
Pressure's on, Anthony. I mean, it's your one shot.
I have a lot of notes.
If you screw up, you might not get another shot. I mean, who knows?
I'm never doing this again. It's fine.
We got G. Bush and Tyvis here as well. We've got Mike, Anthony, and no Anthony. We got Mike and Steve, and is Earl back there, or did he go upstairs?
He went upstairs. He went back.
All right, Earl went upstairs. So go ahead.
By the way,
before you do that,
before you do that, title sponsor.
Who our show's brought to us by, and that is Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
All right, G, what were you saying?
This is your Black News update, and in the world of music, the Clips have an album coming out. It is their long-awaited album.
The Clips?
Yes, since Hell Hath No Fury.
Pusha T.
Critically acclaimed Pusha T.
You know, he changed his name to No Malice.
No Malice. Brothers from Virginia.
Malice.
It's glorified cocaine dealing at its highest level.
Okay.
Make sure you go out and get that.
Let's go from cocaine to kids' birthdays. Tyvis.
Yeah, I don't know how that.
Yeah, that's a heck of a transition.
There's no way to transition that. Just go for it.
Yeah, I just want to take the time out to wish my daughter a happy 5th birthday, Layliana Marie Powell. Just a wonderful kid, man. Just, you know, she's 5, but she acts like she's 15. If you actually get around her and get to talking to her, sometimes you forget that she's only 5 years old. Very smart. Sad that I ain't there right now, but we'll be there later. We celebrated this past weekend, little pool party. I think if the weather holds up, she might go to the little water park today with some of her friends from school. So it'll be a good time.
Where'd you put the picture? It's not on tag board.
I asked you 3 times if you knew how to do this.
What picture?
Click the drop-down menu. It says,
talk your stuff.
Just the picture, use for Tyvis.
I thought it was in tag board with the other social clips.
I mean, how come none of us got invited to the pool party, Tyvis?
Hey, come on, man. Hey, first and foremost.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
She's so cute. She looks just like your wife. She looks really good.
She does look just like Lauren.
Yeah.
Bro, and when she has a whole Cinderella outfit on, that means she's extra. That means she'd be like, listen, Dad, what we need to do today.
So when people ask me, why do you work so much? It's because I have a bougie wife and 2 spoiled kids.
Listen,
that's why.
Tyvis
exactly why.
Yeah.
So
Tyvis' wife
that's why I can't call off. Exactly why.
You know how you get down and sit down and get to know somebody for more than 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I said, man, you know what?
And it's G. Bush's fault.
I said, I like you. She's funny. She be doing and you owe her a wedding.
Thank you, G.
No, honeymoon.
No. It's a whole reset. We set the whole move.
Yeah. We got married during COVID, so we had to do the courthouse.
So
thing.
now,
G. Bush inspired her to have a 10-year wedding, where she, does the whole 9.
Yeah, I was wondering.
She's into that?
G. Bush inspired it.
Yeah, she
Never talked to my
the more and more she thought about it, it was like a great opportunity.
He is not happy about it.
Yes, I've been sabotaging people all week. I've been on my McNuggets. I asked my man, and I said, yo, you got that apartment now, too.
I did move out, yeah.
Are you kidding? You living on your own officially?
Oh, yeah, I've been living on my own since December.
I said, when you stop living on your own, your girl need to be moving. He like, well,
it'll happen eventually.
It'll happen eventually.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so
if she watched the show, what's she gonna ask you after the show? Because G. Bush just had to bring it up. He's out of line.
Well, y'all reiterated it.
He's out of line.
She doesn't want a fancy wedding. She just wants a fancy honeymoon.
So my man,
easy. See, I get a vacation.
You done talked about the weddings. Hey, McNuggets, you out of here, bro. You might as well go ahead and sign that peace treaty.
Go on a vacation?
I mean, if it's a honeymoon, yeah.
How long should a honeymoon
I want to go to Italy, actually.
My wife and I did 10 nights, 11 days.
That's way too long. That's way too long.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, I can't do nothing more than 4 days. Like 4 days is the absolute max.
I had the time of my life.
I can be away.
I can't be just loving you for 10 days, man. That's a lot of loving.
I was still checking on my fantasy.
You get 10 minutes if you're
I was still checking on my fantasy football team.
Right, yeah. Like, you be secluded. Yeah, just let me know when you go back to go get some food, baby.
Yeah.
But after this, though. I can't.
But it was,
10 days.
I mean, it was Hawaii, man. I mean,
oh, wow.
you live in
4 days.
beautiful.
That's all you need.
Where Dustin at?
Yeah, where is
He's coming
this?
back tomorrow.
He's back tomorrow.
He was on this honeymoon.
He was
about
on
10
a
days.
cruise.
12. How many?
Yeah. They're back, I think. I can't remember. Well,
They are
must
back.
be. And they had a great time. He showed me some pictures. He sent me some pictures of, like, they were in these caves in, I can't remember where they were again. Somewhere in the Caribbean. And these caves
Bermuda?
with, what's that?
Wasn't it Bermuda?
It might have been Bermuda, like with these crystals.
What you mean? Like he was underground in some caves? Like,
Yeah,
Where did you say you went?
I didn't. Oh, for
your
my
honeymoon,
honeymoon, I went to Hawaii.
cave?
What
like,
about you, G?
Huh?
Where you?
Did you go on a honeymoon?
What you mean?
You went on the honeymoon?
Oh, so Tyvis has to have a wedding and a honeymoon, but you didn't.
I
have one?
got.
Hold on.
Oh, maybe Tyvis, you need to talk to his Rose.
I'm telling you.
Whoa. What I did, I just sent, you know what? In their culture, it's different. Like, you got to buy them the family stuff. So I sent three caribous.
That's cute.
That's nice.
What about the getaway?
And it was during COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, that means that you owe down.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
You owe down then, because mine was during COVID and I owe down. So you know,
You set yourself up for this.
Listen.
it's crazy how you can spend everybody else's money.
I got a different situation.
What's that? Wow. How?
It's called a language barrier. I was like, in our country, we don't do getaways. This is the getaway right here.
Your getaway is coming here.
Yeah, look at that. She was like, "You're right. This is the craziest vacation ever."
Oh, man. All right, we're going to get to our first sports topic in a moment, but I was thinking about this with Anthony on the panel for the first time. I think last week we did, believe last Thursday was the 800th episode of the Ultimate. Is that correct?
800.
800, yeah. And I feel like, you know how, like, the show Around the Horn just finished? Mm-hmm. And they would keep track of, like, how many appearances. They keep track of the wins. We don't do that type of thing. But, like, I feel like we need a spreadsheet of how many appearances by person on the panel.
That's a Steve Becker job.
Steve's got to do that.
Does he really know that information?
He must. I mean,
he does
at the very least, you could go back and watch every show and then write down who's on the panel.
Yeah.
I was gonna save this for my last day on UCSS. If I ever left, I was gonna wait. But it just came up, and I was like, I'll do next Tuesday.
I don't know.
That works.
It's
not that bad.
Let's hope this ain't your last one.
Who's done more? G and I have done the most shows. I don't know. I'm probably first, right?
I don't know if you caught me yet.
Why wouldn't Jay be
I gotta be sick 3 more times before you can catch me.
G's called out for various medical injuries enough that I think you would be first bowl, G would be second, and honestly,
I'm not sure about third.
Tyvis may have surpassed Jay as third because Jay for a year and a half now has only been 2 days a week.
Right. Oh no, right. That's true.
Somebody tally this up.
And Jay never comes in as the fill-in.
Guess who gonna be filling in this Friday?
But
who? You? It's Friday. Well, Jay's not here.
I know.
Oh,
Him and I can't.
Football season.
Even football season, I don't see him because I only do Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
But I haven't worked with Jay since the day we did that baseball thing.
Dang,
I'm pretty sure that was.
I think there was one other time. I feel like.
Yeah.
There's one other thing we have to get to before we dive into the Guardians snapping their 10-game losing streak because we're going to do it tomorrow in our own version.
Oh, yeah.
But, Bull, you got in a little bit of a little Twitter beef with our friend of the show. We like Nick Wilson. Let everyone know. We do like Nick Wilson. But that quarterback tier list.
I saw that this morning.
Nick and Jonathan, but it was really Nick's thing.
He out of line. Joe Burrow thing is out of line.
I mean, he put out his list of quarterback tiers. And I liked it. Honestly, I was about to start my show this morning, my podcast, and I'm like, there's not that much to talk about right now besides the Guardians, right? Yes. And, Guardians aren't fun to talk about. And I was
last night.
And before the show, I'm like, let me think of something fun that could be a fun topic to talk about. And then I saw that Nick put up his tiers of quarterbacks. So I'm like, And then I saw he had Joe Burrow in tier 2.
Yeah, near the
and
elite.
Jalen Hurts
in tier 1.
Yeah. And I said, oh, that's ludicrous.
That's what.
So I got to go on and bust his balls about it. And so I actually thought most of the rest of his list was pretty good.
I agree. That was them two players was the only two that I had a huge issue.
So let me break this down for me.
So he had 4 elite quarterbacks. Mahomes, obviously. Lamar, obviously. Josh Allen, obviously.
And then Jalen Hurts.
Assume the Burrow would be the 4th elite, but he had Jalen Hurts as the 4th elite.
So,
and his argument is that Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl and Burrow hasn't. And then I'm like, well, Lamar Jackson hasn't and Josh Allen hasn't. He's like, well, but they've been to the playoffs the last 2 years. I'm like, is Joe Burrow any part of the reason why the Bengals haven't been to the playoffs? They won 9 games last year with maybe the worst defensive team in the history of football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them.
Mm-hmm. But you know what?
But you also can't. Jalen Hurts has been in the Super Bowl 2 years against Patrick Mahomes, and I think he's outplayed Patrick in both of them.
He has, but if you're starting,
but I'm Joe Burrow,
right,
but I'm biased.
If you ask 32 GMs, would any of them take Jalen Hurts over Burrow?
Not a chance.
No.
Exactly.
You know what he did?
Even the Eagles.
Shout out to Nick Wilson, Mikey McNuggets.
It was a good move by him.
You know what it is? The marketing genius. They understand it. You can't drop a list and the list be the same list.
That's true.
You got to move somebody somewhere to get them talking.
That's right.
It is. So tomorrow,
we're going to do our own.
As a show,
we'll steal Nick's idea.
You, me, and Dustin are on the panel tomorrow.
Yeah.
Earl's going to submit his list. G and Tyvis, you guys can submit your guys' list. We're going to compile it into a composite and make a UCSS.
Do we have? Can we pick our different categories?
I got to be tied at the hip to y'all. Okay.
If you want. You are not required if you want. We're going to make the list 1 through 32 bowl, and then we're going to see the composite list. We'll argue who had who where, and then we'll put those 1 through 32 into the different tiers.
Right.
Because it's impossible because you may have a different version of a tier than I do, than Tyvis does. So we'll kind of figure out where our own tiers are, but we're going to have everyone submit their list tonight. We'll compile those results for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We'll go through 1 through 32, then separate them into tiers, but we're going to do that tomorrow. Because
some of the other guys I disagreed with on his list, but I didn't think any of these were egregious. I disagreed with where he had Tua, where he had Jared Goff, and where he had Trevor Lawrence.
And Joe Flacco. He has Joe way too high.
Does the
I don't know that that list and the jury still out list are higher than the other.
You don't think Joe Flacco's in the danger zone list?
Oh, you think he should be in the danger zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's fair. I think, but I think once you get to that point in the list, Mike, those guys are all just kind of nothing.
So do you have to have had thrown any passes to be on the list?
He did not include Cam Ward.
No, but he did include J.J. McCarthy.
We are going to include J.J. McCarthy and Cam Ward on ours. He has both Colts quarterbacks on his list. He has Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
So we're going to cancel them
out
exercise into one. We're going to do it tomorrow, and that'll be a fun way to spend part of the second hour of tomorrow's show. But let's dive into the Guardians winning a baseball game for the first time in a long time, after a quick reminder that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. It's also the official sportsbook sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you guys have any winning FanDuel tickets, whether you're betting on the Guardians, NBA Summer League, golf, soccer, you name it, you can find it on FanDuel. If you win, send us the ticket so we can feature it here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And if you haven't downloaded FanDuel yet, what are you waiting for? Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Open up the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. Bull, been a while since I can say this.
Yeah.
But the Guardians were winners last night. They beat the Astros, one of the hottest teams in baseball. Bibee, not a great performance, but it was enough to get the win. And the 10-game losing streak. I'm saying the Guardians, enough to get the Guardians to win. And the 10-game losing streak for Cleveland has officially come to an end.
Tell them who called it.
You called it? You said they were going to win?
He had no reason to why they were winning.
That's not the point.
He had no reason.
I didn't even remember you saying
You didn't see that in the chat?
No, I didn't.
Said take it to the bank.
All right, I'll give you the credit for it. Good job. You get. What's funny is in their previous.
Everyone give Tyvis a round of applause.
Thank you.
In their previous 7 games, the Guardians had scored a total of 9 runs, and then they scored 7 last night. What's funny is the game, it looked like it was going to be another, like 1-0 game. It was 0-0 going to the fifth. And then the Guardians score 4 in the top of the fifth, including the Ramirez homer. And then the Astros come right back off Bibee and tie it up. And Bibee's got a 4-0 lead going to the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, he had a no-hitter.
A no-hitter.
Yeah, no-hitter going into the fifth.
And then he can't get out of the fifth inning, which is unbelievable and just sums up his season. Nonetheless, the team did come right back, scored 2. Astros got 1 in the bottom of the fifth, and then the Guardians tacked on with the David Fry homer late to give them the 7-5 win. But so I don't know. Anybody? Did any of you guys watch it?
I watched. I tapped in and out, and the best thing I saw was the Astro City Connect unis.
That's crazy. I tapped in right at the bottom of the fourth inning, and I watched Jose hit the home run, and I was like, and then I sat there and I watched the 3-run homer by the Astros going. I'm like, get Bibee out of there. They left him in. Yeah. Boom, another home run. I turned it off. I said, let me go to bed. Here we go again. I see why fans feel the way they feel. Like, they give you this hope. Nothing was worse than the Detroit 1-0 loss. That was
nasty work.
Oh, my goodness. But this felt like this was about to be that same type of thing. Where it was like 4-0. I'm like, oh, they're going to run away with it. And boom, they give up the lead and tie the game. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably done. And I woke up this morning, to my surprise, 7-5 win. So I was happy to see that. I see Rocchio was the one who got the RBI to get the run in to give us the lead. And then David Fry homers in the ninth, which is good for him because he's been struggling. We was talking about a couple weeks ago about him getting sent down to the minors.
He's still struggling despite that.
It's still good to see something.
Yeah, I mean,
like, give me something. Give me a reason to why you should be here. Yeah, that's nasty. That's terrible. But hey, he came through. And they got the dub. And this is hopefully they can continue to sprinkle them off. Who knows? They sweep this series and sweep the White Sox.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You never know.
They're facing one of the best pitchers in baseball tonight, so we'll see. Anthony, did you watch the game?
Yeah, I kind of started checking out actually in the fifth inning. And then we scored the 4 runs, and I was like, all right, I'm back in. Houston goes right back to him. I was like, it's all over. Get Bibee out. What is it? As somebody who doesn't quite understand the mechanics of pitching, why does it seem like the fifth inning, he was only at, 53 pitches, I think, when he was going into the fifth inning? Why does he just lose his command there? Is there something
it's hard to say. There's
we
nothing
have to worry
specific.
about with his arm?
There's nothing. No, not really. I mean, unlikely. But there's nothing. There's usually nothing you could point to specifically. It just happens.
Be like
is it real quick for him? Is it the third time through the lineup? That seems to be when he runs into issues, and I know that's a lot of the reason why managers have gone to these bullpen games to avoid having your starter face the same top of the lineup 3 times.
But it wasn't the third time in the lineup.
Last night.
What's that?
He got through the beginning of the lineup 3 times last night, then got taken out.
Right, but that inning started, they were still at the second turn through the lineup at the 5th inning. The Astros would be in no hit. How many base runners did they have in the first 4 innings? Huh?
Just the 1 walk.
Right. So that means it was the 5th hitter for the second time to start the 5th inning. That's it.
Okay, fair. I'm saying he ended up getting through the top of the order for the third time.
Because he gave up a bunch of base runners. It was mostly the second time. There's no excuse. You have a 4-0 lead. I mean, the Astros, to their credit, are very hot. They've been one of the hottest teams in baseball. So, you give them some credit. But no, there's no excuse for, third time around because that wasn't who did most of the damage. It was 5 through 9 in the lineup there.
Is it messed up to think that, like, if you don't have overpowering stuff, like, I can't look at you like, man, what happened in the 5th inning? It's called you was throwing the ball and you was getting hit. Like, if you don't got, like, you mentioned something the other day. Like, you was like, the Guardians don't have an ace. Have you downgraded him to a 2?
Well, I mean, he never proved himself to be an ace. I think he has the ability to be that. I think Gavin Williams has the ability to be that. But until you're consistently pitching, and there's not that many aces. Tarek Skubal.
Define. Like, okay, for a bunch of people that say we say ace a lot, just like people say franchise quarterback.
So
define
Shane
ace.
Bieber, when he was healthy, is an ace. Tarek Skubal of the Tigers is an ace. It's hard to define, but I'll say, you just kind of know it when you see it. it's a guy who dominates almost all of the time, right? And a guy who consistently goes, I'll say now 6 innings. It should be 7 or 8, but I'll say 6, and gives up less than 3 runs a game. If you're consistently giving up 2 runs or less, look at Tara Skubal. I bet she hasn't given up more than 2 runs in a game 3, 4 times all year.
I'll tell you one sec.
You look at Hunter Brown of the Astros. I bet you he's barely given up. And when they do give up more, it's 3 or 4. There's not like a 7-run game. You know, I bet you like
what number? 2 for Skubal.
How many times has he given up 2 earned runs or less? I bet you he's had 3, maybe 4 starts where he's given up more than 2 earned runs.
More than 2 earned runs.
Yeah.
1. So he had 5 starts in June. Only 1 of those was more than 2 earned runs.
Right.
He had 6 starts in May. 2 of those were more than 2 earned runs.
All right.
The other 4, 0, 0, 1, 1. And the 2 that were more were 3 and 5.
Right.
And then his first 2 starts of the season, he gave up 4 and 3.
How long should you stay like?
So it's 4 starts where he gave up more than 2 runs, right? Or did you skip April?
5.
5. So 5 starts. And how many of them did he give up 3?
1, 2.
So he's had 5 starts where he's given up more than 2 runs and only 3 where he's given up more. That's an ace.
And here's the amount of 2
he
or
dominates
fewer.
almost every time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 starts of 2 or fewer runs.
Yeah. How many did Bieber and Gavin Williams have? Nowhere near that. I mean, Gavin Williams probably got.
I got to count. I won't do that live. I'll do that to you.
That's
How long do you? Let me figure out how to ask this question.
Before you do, real quick, just to be fair, Tyrese Skubal's been pitching longer than Gavin Williams.
And that has to do with my
Bibee,
question.
and that they'll have more time, and I think they're both capable of it. But right now, they're not aces.
So my question is, when do you say, all right, this guy's not an ace? How many years do you think they need pitching until you be like, that guy's just not going to be an ace?
And let me add this. Bull says you have to do it more than 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, is Paul Skeens an ace to you?
Yes.
Okay, and this is year 2 for him?
Yeah.
But last year you knew, boom, that's an ace.
I mean, he's a once-in-a-decade player.
Okay.
So, yes, you knew right away. But guys like that, that's very rare. Max Fried hasn't always been. He is right now. I mean, there have been times where it's questionable.
So when do you think, when you look at Bibee and Gavin Williams, when will you be like, all right?
Where I'm going to give up on the idea that they can be a number, like an ace, a horse? Because Shane Bieber's been an ace here.
Yes.
Corey Kluber's been an ace here, right? You know, you've had that. Meanwhile, you had other really good pitchers that have been here over the past decade or so, like Carlos Carrasco, Trevor Bauer, Mike Clevenger, Justin Masterson going into the Wayback Machine. These guys have all been really good, but none of those guys are aces. There's a difference between a number 2, a number 3, and an ace. Shane Bieber, ace. Corey Kluber, at his best, was an ace. Tarek Skubal, the Tigers have it. CC was an ace. Cliff Lee but not for as long.
He had like a 2 to 3 year stretch where it was like, I'm that guy. And he really didn't throw that hard.
And then CC wasn't anymore at the end of his career. But when he was with for the later stages with Cleveland, that short time at Milwaukee, and for the early part of his career with the Yankees, he was a clear ace. You knew every start he was going to, at the very least, keep you in the game with very rare exceptions, and he was going to dominate a high percentage of the time.
Who would you bet on out of Bibee and Gavin?
I've always thought Gavin Williams was a little more talented than Bibee, but I'm concerned with Williams. And again, maybe it's unfair because I don't know him personally, and I'm not in the locker room, even though I know people who are. But my concern with Gavin Williams is he doesn't, and if this changes, this is when he's going to become an ace, potentially. I don't think he trusts his stuff as much as he should because he has elite stuff. Like, he should be an ace. And again, he's only been in the big leagues 2 years. You know, there's a lot of guys who don't be, Greg Maddux, one of the greatest pitchers ever. Go look at his stats in his first, year or two. It wasn't that great. There's a lot of pitchers, especially with pitchers, it takes some time. We don't have as much patience as we used to. And Williams and Bibee, it's not like they've been bad pitchers. They've been solid pitchers, and at times better than that. But it's when you consistently get once they start 8 out of every 10 starts are dominant performances, that's when you know you have an ace. 8 out of every 10.
I think we've got the short patience as Guardians fans because as soon as they start getting to that level in year 3, 4, we know they're not going to stick around.
That's fair.
So although they
did extend Bibee.
That's true. So we have him to count on for how long was his contract for? How long was his extension?
I don't remember how long the extension was.
Wasn't it 5 years, $100 million? Is that what it came out to be?
I'll
double check.
I can't remember now the exact numbers.
They gave $100 million what?
But it feels like everybody on the Guardians, as soon as they do start hitting that stride, it's like, all right.
You're like, there's no way that's true.
I don't remember how much it was.
You got to check the car fast.
I don't remember it being
it was 5 years. 5 years, $48 million.
Yeah, not $100 million.
It has the options if you add them on later that surpass that $48 million, but it's 48.
Is these player options or team?
No, that'd be
crazy, man.
Club options.
Oh yeah.
How many club options do they have after the 5 years?
16.
The club option for 2030 is worth $21 million.
Oh, they'll be declining that by then. Or it'll be
how much?
Owner.
21 million.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how good he is at that point. There's one club option for 2030?
Yeah.
They'll be declining that.
All right, dog.
They already not.
Or they'll pick it up and then trade him.
So Williams and Biden will be great aces.
We'll see. I mean, by 2030, $20 million, even if he's a number 2 starter, will be a good.
It'll be a bargain.
Yeah.
And due to inflation, that's like $15 million.
And then we're going to have a lockout at the end of next year or a strike, whatever.
You think that's going to happen?
Oh, 95%.
They want a shorter season?
No, it's not going to be a strike. It's going to be a lockout because the owners are, I think, going to finally try to get a salary cap in baseball, which the players will not agree to.
What's going to happen to teams like the Dodgers who are already over whatever preset salary cap?
We're a long way from that.
Fair,
How they figure that part out, I have no idea. But I think a lot of teams want it.
They'll hit them. Listen, all they got to do is go talk to the NBA dudes. They say, how do you get that? Well, you can amnesty somebody. Well, you can say you got 3 years to taper down this.
Yeah, they'll have to figure that
2
out.
years, or it's massive penalties. So they'll find a way to be.
So it's going to be tricky. I don't know that for sure. The problem is there's infighting within the owners. I'm sure the Dodgers owners don't want a salary cap.
Yeah,
that amnesty thing was. They ever bring that to the NFL,
man,
number 4 would be the first person to Cleveland Browns.
He certainly would.
They fly that rule too.
Man, they be. Now they bring amnesty to real jobs. They like you're amnesty today.
You're out. All right, Mike.
You guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
I got your Bibee and Williams game logs real quick though. So this season, Tanner Bibee has made 18 starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many of those, Bold, do you think 2 or fewer runs?
Now,
fewer?
By the way, one caveat there, which I didn't mention with Scooble, but I'm not sure. He had to have pitched at least 6 innings.
Yeah, and with Gavin Williams, we get into the numbers being a lot less for
so
Tanner
how many
Bibee.
times in his 18 starts did he go 6 or more and give up 2 runs or 2 earned runs or less? I'll say 3, 4 for or 5 for
with
Bibee.
the caveat he had to go at least 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2.
2. I'm going 2.
6.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Look at that.
The
Okay,
issue
put some
with Tanner
respect on his
Bibee is when
name.
he hasn't been good, he's been
horrible.
bad. He's been bad.
How many times he didn't get up over 5 runs?
4 times with 5 or more runs, and then 4 times with 4 runs.
Yeah. And then what about Williams? I'll say Williams has maybe 6 starts of 6. No, because he doesn't go 6 a lot of times. I'll say 4.
Anyone else want to guess?
For Williams, I'll stick with 2 again.
I'm going with 2 again, too.
5.
No kidding.
Out of 18 for him also?
Maybe
Yep.
maybe it's not
But
as
that's
bad.
less than a third of the time.
It's not as bad as I think it is.
Maybe
And that's why
they're twos.
Again,
So
they're
there's
good
some
pitchers.
twos.
They're
They
twos.
got some 2-2s.
But
They're inconsistent. The difference between
But-
Scooble is 80% of the time you're getting a start like that.
Right.
For Bibee and Williams, it's a third to
right.
a
That's
third.
a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know?
And when they're not on, it's ugly at times. When
Yeah.
Scooble's not on, a bad game for Scooble's 6 1/3, 3 runs allowed.
Right. Plus, Scooble goes deeper. Like,
Yeah.
how many times How many times have Bieber and Gavin Williams pitched 7 innings or more?
Gavin Williams has not reached 7 innings this season.
Not once.
Bibee has done it 4 times.
Okay, so Bibee's done it 4, Williams 0.
36 starts between the two.
There's 4.
So 1 out of every 9 starts for them.
Right. And think about that. Think about how that affects the bullpen, right? How many times has Scooble gone 7 innings or more?
Give me 1 sec to pull
I
the
bet you
game
it's
up.
at least 10 of his 18 starts.
Scooble this season has made 18 starts. He has gone 7 or more innings 8 times.
Okay.
And he's gone 6 innings or more 13 times.
Yeah. Wow. Does he have 5 starts where he didn't go 6 innings?
Early in the season, 5 2/3, 5 2/3, 5 2/3, 5 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
But look at that. You said 12 of his 18, he went at least
13 of his 18 won at least 6.
How many? So 8 of almost half his starts, he went 7 innings. Meanwhile, Bibee and Williams, between the 2 of them,
4
they don't
times.
even, it's not even half.
He's
so,
doubled their amount of.
Yeah, exactly. With half the amount of starts. And
That's crazy
that saves the bullpen. That's a big difference. Again, Scooble's been in the league longer. Scooble wasn't.
He's a Cy Young winner.
Yeah, and
very
but
different
remember,
caliber.
at Scooble, at this point in his career where Bibee and Williams wasn't as dominant
He
as
almost
he is now.
30, right?
I don't know
He's
how
20
old
he's
he is.
29, I think. I looked up
I don't
last
think he's
night.
quite 30 yet, but he's
Scooble's 28.
Yeah.
28.
Wait,
So those guys have a chance to be really good.
Before we switch topics, I want to
Yeah.
ask this hypothetical question. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that the Guardians sweep the Astros, the White Sox, and the Athletics. I know it's far-fetched.
Yeah.
You still would trade when the trade deadline?
July 31st.
Would you still trade Clase, Carlos Santana?
I would 100% trade Santana, Thomas, Seawald, and anyone else who's a free agent at the end of the season. And I would still trade Clase, yes. I'm not trading him unless I get a great offer because I got him for a number of years.
I'm sure you get a great offer.
But I'm not changing. The Guardians,
record-wise, like if they put themselves in a position where they could be, I don't know, 2 games out of the wild card.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. They're not a legit contender. If they get hot against the White Sox and A's, 2 of the 4 worst teams in baseball, I'll be shocked if they win tonight. I know it's baseball. They're facing Hunter Brown. He's been one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball this year. So,
How old is Hunter Brown, by the way?
not old. I
12,
think this is his 3rd year
13.
in the league. He stunk last year. Stunk. He pitched better at the end of the year.
What's wrong with you?
But the first 4 months of last season, he was terrible. And then the last 2 months, he pitched well. This year, he's been lights out.
Yeah, his numbers this year are crazy. I didn't realize how good he's been.
Yeah,
He's one of the best pitchers in the game.
See,
right
this is
now.
what happens when you actually bring up people that you actually drafted that are good and you play them. You don't say that they get tired.
You off the Travis Bazana?
Bro, I bring listen, anybody, I have a whole A-ball team up here giving tryouts at this point.
Yeah.
Hunter Brown has 17 starts this season.
Yeah.
15 of the 17, 2 or fewer runs.
Yeah, he's been magnificent.
16 of the 17, 3 or fewer runs.
Yeah.
Guardians in for a tough one
You
tonight.
just bring the whole Clippers to you.
Bro, I swap them out. You guys are playing. You're at Lake County. The Lake County is gonna go. All are gonna come up here. That's how we're gonna move.
At least this Travis Bazana got left for his injury. Has it been 6
I have
weeks?
no
yet?
idea.
It's a wrap.
I don't know.
He's not playing
No
this
idea.
year.
Go ahead, Mike.
Nasty
All right,
work.
let's get
Switch
to
it up.
our next topic, which is brought to us by Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute you want to head to the ballpark with some friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you'd rather be in the stands than on your couch. Well, that's where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you can save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. By taking the guesswork out of buying tickets, Game Time makes it super easy with just a click of a button on your phone. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So, guys, yesterday, ESPN started its series of the top 10 best players at each position moving forward for this upcoming season. And so far, they've done running backs and defensive tackles. Today, we're going to focus on the running backs. And obviously, no Browns were on the top 10 running backs for the upcoming season, but it sparked a potential topic for me when I saw that list. Quinshon Judkins was the 4th running back taken in this draft. Dylan Sampson was the 10th running back taken in this most recent NFL draft. Tyvis, we'll start with you. What does Judkins and Sampson, what percentage do they have, either one, at turning out to be the best back in this class? Because we've seen time and time again throughout the history of the NFL, just because you're the first back taken does not mean you end up being the best back on the pro level. So what do you need to see from Judkins and Sampson, and how probable do you think it is that they could turn out to be the best back here?
The best rookie back. 50%. I give it a 50% chance because of the simple fact that, when you look at the Cleveland Browns, I like the Kevin system. I think that if this offensive line can hold up, they've shown and proved. Nick Chubb has proved that you can run the ball successfully here. And I think that if you look at both of those guys, more so Judkins, he's more of a power back. He's one of those guys that knows how to break tackles. Don't sleep on Sampson. Although he's small, that dude got a lot of balance. I did a film study of him when Ohio State was playing him in the first round. Now, he didn't play that game because I think he was dealing with a foot injury or a toe injury or something like that. But he's got really good balance, and if his offensive line give him a good room, he can make some people, miss and things like that as well. So I give him a 50% chance. I mean, running back is one of those things that's hit and miss. You got guys that go in the first round all the time and don't necessarily hit it, the first year at least. And I think that when you look at these guys right here, I think that they're going to get a boatload of the carries. They are the offense. When you look at our passing situation right now, the quarterback is already murky, and you got Jerry Jeudy, but we don't know if we can get him the ball, and teams is going to play towards Jerry Jeudy. David Njoku is very inconsistent, and Harold Fanning, we don't know. So I think that with that being said, the one thing that we know that we can do is run the ball. And if this offense wants to be successful anyways, you got to be able to run the ball successfully. Because if them linebackers ain't flying up to check that run, we not hitting them over routes. We not hitting Jeudy behind him or David Njoku, on the over routes. So it's essential that these guys actually do turn out to be a really good running back. But my chances for them, 50%.
Anthony.
I went a little bit higher. I give him 60 because for a couple of reasons that you already mentioned, right? Like the system with Kevin Stefanski, Nick Chubb has proven that we can do it here. Judkins is a power back like Nick Chubb. I think he's that perfect replacement, and I'm really, really high on him actually after watching him at Ohio State.
Go Bucks.
But we're the AFC North. We're a run-first team, and I think we're going to get back to that, especially with the quarterback situation that we have. I have no reason to think that these two can't perform behind even a mediocre offensive line. I think they'll be all right. And Judkins specifically was already sharing carries at Ohio State with Henderson. He's going to know how to do that balance with Sampson, and I think they're both going to be just like Chubb and Hunt. That's what I'm predicting from the two of them.
High expectations.
Yeah, man. I'm looking to get Bambi out the game.
Jerome Ford.
Yeah. Bambi, he be tipping around, bro.
He's like one of the most explosive running backs.
Stop that.
I'm just saying.
Stop that.
I'm just saying. He gas stuff.
Hey, listen, he all right, if he that go run track or something. Like, bro, he leaves a lot on the bone in terms of there be yards out here that be there and available. He'd be like, why don't you just go that way? But it's either hit or miss. It's either like him getting hit in the backfield or him breaking a long run. And them long runs is deceiving. I looked up his numbers. Didn't he have like 400-some yards last year?
Is that it?
Am I lying?
That can't be.
500. That's nasty work. Like, I mean, he had an opportunity last year when Nick Chubb was not playing. Ooh. They didn't bring no backs back.
Wait.
Deontay Foreman was a fullback.
Wait a minute. To be fair, it was a new offensive system that was very heavy on passer. I'm just saying.
But also, Mike, can you look up how many yak yards he had last year? Because anytime he got touched, he was going down.
Well, I mean, he ain't no yards after contact type of person.
There is a reason why they drafted two backs.
That's a fact.
There's a reason. Like, if anything, like if you like, you know it, Tyvis.
They made him take a pay cut just to stay here.
They did.
That means you are a returner. That is a promotion demotion.
No,
you on special teams.
Third down back. Catch out the backfield.
Maybe. Because I like Dylan Sampson's long speed. Like, look, I done told everybody, hey, listen, if you was part of the 3-14 squad, if you was part of that squad, and wasn't nothing wrong with you, you didn't get hurt, y'all was just getting beat to sleep, guess what? You're going to have to come in and overproduce. All them dudes that was on the roster, like I keep trying to tell y'all think y'all going to slide that all under Deshaun Watson. It was Watson the whole time. And no, Watson played 6 games and he was terrible. But what were you doing the rest of them games? Nothing.
Who?
The rest of the roster.
Jerry Jeudy has some good
There you go. He's the only one that can stand up in the cafeteria.
Denzel has some good performances.
Who?
Denzel?
Oh yeah, he played pretty good.
I'm about to say, don't do that,
bro.
Isaiah McGuire has some good performances.
He need to have some production. I know he's in his gap. I want production.
He ain't had no sacks.
I want some sacks. I want all the above.
What is his sacks? How many sacks Isaiah McGuire?
He's rated highly PFF.
Like 2?
That's
one sec.
He only played a handful. Don't do that.
Come on,
don't do that.
Isaiah McGuire.
He only played a handful of games.
Isaiah McGuire. Because
I about the players.
Because
everybody blaming it on Deshaun, and I'm saying
2.5
it was some productive stuff that happened behind
what I'm
the
saying
scenes.
to you is those dudes that was on the roster last year, we is 3-14.
Yeah.
It's a couple of dudes that get to come to the pizza party.
Right.
It's Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Jerry Jeudy. The rest of you is not at the pizza party.
Let me think about that.
No, Batonio, don't put him in.
No, he didn't do nothing last year.
They said he was playing his best ball towards the end of the year.
No. The pizza. We got it. The standards is the pizza party.
I'm really
What about
fishing.
the punter? Do we put the punter?
Oh yeah, Corey
Bajorquez.
Gosh, I guess if your punter's
That's
nice.
embarrassing to have the
If
punter.
your
He was
punter's
the best
nice.
player they had last year. Remember, we did the top 5, and I
Corey
said they
gets
best
lava cakes.
players.
All right,
before
so what's your-
Bajorquez.
So my point,
Yeah.
when we bring it back to square one is, I'm trying to see these young dudes. I done seen Jerome Ford for 4 or 5 years. I know what Jerome Ford is. We know what Jerome Ford is. Bombi. He's tipping around. He got the high run. Give me Quinshon Judkins has been better than Jerome Ford since like every year of his life.
Wow.
So what's the percentage? He's the best back in the league.
Wow.
Best rookie back in the league.
He's gonna get the touches. I got him 67%.
So you
So you guys all think there's a better than 50% chance he's going to be better than Ashton Genty?
No, I said 50.
67.
You gotta understand
Yeah.
that I don't know what the Raiders line look like. That's a part of it. Just want to throw that out there.
But and here's the thing.
That's a part of it, but not the Browns.
Going back to they were successful under Kevin's system.
The Browns.
Yeah.
You know who's coaching the Raiders now?
Pete Carroll.
What does he like to do?
Run the ball.
Okay.
The Browns
With a line.
The Browns have no receivers.
They have Jerry Jeudy.
That's one.
Who's the Raiders' best receiver?
Brock
Bowers. I was about to say Brock Bowers.
So
They're not going to be running.
Did they draft one?
They're going to be running the ball. Now, listen, I like Quinshon Judkins a lot. I think he's. I'm not. I forgot the name of the other back.
Dylan Sampson.
He's whatever.
He led the SEC in rushing yards.
Okay, that's fine.
I
But
mean, at 1,500 and
Quinshon Judkins is going to be. I think he's going to be very good. Do I think he's going to be better than Ashton Genty? Certainly, it's a possibility. I was looking to see how often the first running back drafted in recent years was not the best running back in the draft, and it's happened a lot.
Yes.
It's happened a lot in recent years.
It happens a lot. That's why I asked the question. It's not unheard of.
It's not. Now, usually when a guy is hyped as a special back and he's a top 15 pick, they usually end up being great backs since Trent Richardson.
Yeah, since the one we took.
So I think Genty and Judkins are both going to be excellent backs.
The Raiders gonna run that ball.
But I can't give Judkins a better than a 50. I'll give Judkins a 40% chance of being the best back, which is a lot considering he was taken a full round later.
Let me ask you very quick. Judkins was the 4th running back taken.
Yeah.
Omarion Hampton went in the first round to the Los Angeles Chargers, and Judkins' teammate at Ohio State, Travion Henderson, went 2 picks prior to New England. Are those guys in your mind not even being
here's the thing, at least for this year, those 2 guys have competition at running back.
Who's the running back in Denver?
No, not Denver. I think
the
Denver.
Chargers.
Oh, Chargers.
And they got Najee Harris.
Oh.
Right.
See,
And
that
New England-
screams
Gus
split.
Edwards
And you said New England, right?
with Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, Ramon.
Oh, yeah. And
So whereas the Raiders, Ashton Genty's the guy.
Yes.
In fact,
it's him and Brock Bowers on offense.
Ashton
Their
Jeanty
receivers is terrible.
is probably going to get more touches than even Judkins.
Yes.
Because the Cleveland Browns play that analytics game. They'll start.
We only getting 18. He ain't getting 20 carries.
He get to 18. We don't want to.
That's why Dylan Sampson's here.
But they do. We do want to see some of Sampson too, right?
Yeah, but Quinshon ain't getting no more than 20.
Who are the other Raiders? Who else do the Raiders have at running back?
It's disgusting. I just
I
looked.
was
Are you
about
ready
to
to
say,
throw up again?
They hold.
I'm not sure how many of these guys
nasty.
are still on the roster.
Are you on our lads?
No, I'm on last year's running stats because I wanted to see who did what last year.
Nasty.
They still have Zamir White.
He's garbage.
Alexander Madison led their team in rushing last year.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone, yeah.
Amir Abdullah finished second.
I mean, he's
in
like
rushing.
35.
And Sincere McCormick finished third.
I mean,
I sincerely don't know
go
who
on our
that is.
lads. They didn't sign. Maybe they signed somebody, and I don't remember.
That can't be their back.
Hold on.
On our lads, according to Bulls.
They got Raheem.
Raheem Mostert is their backup running back.
40.
Yeah, he's 40. He's
50.
Guy's 100, but he'll play a little bit.
Right.
And then McCormick's third string. And
Yeah, they got nobody. Dude, they drafted this guy
to
play him every play.
Can he really withstand that, though? He's like 5'8", right?
But he's like 215.
He runs over.
He's listed at 225.
Oh, 225. So he's pretty
he's-
big for his.
He's gonna have to.
He's nice.
I think they're both.
They got to come.
Don't you think they're both going to be excellent this year? I do.
Ashton Jeanty and Quinshon?
Judkins.
So
Probably. Because that's the offense.
It's splitting hairs here because I could see a world where one of them gets more touchdowns, but one of them has more yards.
I think whatchamacallit gets more touchdowns.
Yeah.
Quinshon will probably get more touchdowns.
Why?
Because when he get down on that goal line, that boy he like Kareem. He get there.
He's the goal line back.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
That's true too.
The Raiders have a better quarterback, though.
Yes.
I mean, Geno's
that's not really
solid quarterback.
That's sad.
It is sad, but it's true.
You never know, man.
Oh, by the way, I had it backwards. Judkins went 2 picks before Henderson. In my head, I had it split.
Okay.
But Judkins was technically the third back picked. Henderson.
Either way, Henderson split and carries.
I know you've been seeing all the videos.
My bad on that.
Yeah.
Hand up.
As of today, the Raiders have a better quarterback. Who knows once the season starts? But on paper, the Raiders have a proven quarterback who's at least a starter.
Another guy at least to throw into this conversation.
Yeah.
Real quick is R.J. Harvey, who the Broncos drafted in the second round.
That's why.
Well, he's going to get an opportunity.
Is expected to get a ton of
They
touches.
signed somebody recently, didn't they?
No.
What's his name? The guy's hurt all the time. Was with the Chargers last year. Former Buckeye, right?
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K.
Go
Dobbins.
Bucks.
Yeah. Didn't they sign Dobbins?
Yeah,
Yes.
Dobbins, Harvey, and Audric Estime
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
are the top 3 running backs
That dude
for
from
them next
Notre
season.
Dame.
I was looking. By the way, I was looking. Here's the. So last year, do you even know who the first running back was taken last year?
Bijan, no. Last year?
That was 2 years ago.
There was no one in the first round last year, if I remember.
Wasn't somebody?
correct.
Wasn't it? No,
Last year? I don't even know who the
remember a
running backs
single running
was
back.
last year.
The first running back drafted was drafted 46th overall. Jonathan Brooks by the Panthers, who I think was hurt the whole season.
he
Didn't play a single
remember that
snap.
play.
Yeah.
And that was it in the first 2 rounds.
What about that dude that went from Florida State that went to the Cardinals?
Trey Benson was the third round.
He was the second pick of the 3rd round, the second rookie overall. He did nothing. Blake Corum did nothing. Marshawn Lloyd did nothing. Dalen Wright did nothing. The best back in last year's draft was Bucky Irving, who got drafted in the 4th round by the Buccaneers. The next best guy was probably Isaac Guerrero, who got drafted in the 4th round by the Niners. And then Ray Davis, who got drafted in the 4th round by the Bills, was solid.
Yeah.
And Tyrone Tracy, who got drafted by the Giants in the 5th round, was pretty good.
That's nasty.
which gives you some hope that maybe Dylan Sampson can be a 4th round guy who turns into a
I'll give you other late,
productive back too.
I mean, here we go. 2023, the Jaguars drafted, the Dolphins drafted Devin Achane. I know he's been hurt a lot, but when he's been healthy, he's been lights out.
Is this the Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs?
That was that year. Bijan went 8. He's been great. Gibbs has been 12. He's been phenomenal.
When did A-Chain go?
Achane went 84.
Oh, I thought you were saying it like he went before both of them. I
No.
was gonna say, no way.
Charbonnet went 52. He's pretty solid too.
Yeah, he had a power
Tank
back.
Bigsby went 88. Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Chase Brown, 163rd pick in the draft. He had a great year
I
last
might
year.
draft him in fantasy this year.
2022, Breece Hall went first, but it was the 2nd round. followed by Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Rashad White, Brian Robinson that year, Tyler Algier, and the great Jerome Ford.
They're good running backs.
It's a coin
toss. Kyren Williams went in the 5th round that year.
Yeah.
It's a coin flip. It's all about the system and where you go.
There it is.
And that's why I keep saying, like, with Quinshon and Genty, they are literally going to be the offense.
Yeah.
Like, we got to run it through you.
Yes.
Type thing. So that's why I give them the best chance to be the best backs.
Right. Well, they're probably the 2 most talented backs, and they're in good situations.
Well, Travion is a very talented back. I just don't know how much, because they're talking about using him as gadgets and all this other stuff. So
right, and then Ramondre did not have a particularly great season last year, but he's still a good player.
Yeah.
So he's not disappearing from the offense, I wouldn't think. All right, Mike.
All right, guys, let's move on to our next topic. Quick reminder, 2 hours of UCSS isn't enough, and the Ultimate Spinoff shows aren't enough UCSS content for you. You can find us on our social media handles. We have a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and a TikTok account. These social handles are on our screen. Give them a follow if you want some extra, sometimes behind-the-scenes content that you don't get here, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And a quick reminder, next Monday,
I was gonna say,
we're doing a remote show from the Quail Hollow Austin Carr golf tournament. That show on Monday will be 10:30 to 12:30, not 11 to 1. So
no
Monday,
no overtime.
No overtime, 10:30 to 12:30 to make sure we get some interviews before they tee off on the green. All right, guys, let's talk Cavs for a second. Tyrese Proctor, the Cavaliers' 2nd-round pick, spoke to the media for the first time as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tyrese Proctor was the 49th pick. Emoni Bates was the 49th pick.
Ooh.
Emoni Bates never fully got a chance to show what he could do on the NBA level. Tyrese Proctor signed a fully guaranteed NBA contract, so a little different situations.
Has somebody picked up Emoni Bates, by the way?
Not yet. But I'm curious, in your opinion, these are 2 players drafted in the exact same spot in the draft. It didn't necessarily work out for Emoni Bates here in Cleveland. Why do you have faith? Why do you have confidence that it could work out for Tyrese Proctor?
Because sometimes when you go different places, they just like you. Like, it just is what it is. Like, it's simple as that. Like, it's a different thing to be. First of all, Kenny Atkinson wasn't there when they drafted Emoni Bates, right? So sometimes there's hey, when you get in, you fit your system. You scout your guys. It's just, that's the way sports be working. That's why people transfer. That's why people are free agents.
No, but why is it going to work with Proctor?
Well, here's the reason why it's going to work with Proctor. Because they drafted him.
Oh, yeah.
Right. They gave him a guaranteed deal.
Yeah.
They gave him a guaranteed roster spot.
Sure did.
Like, with Emoni Bates, that regime didn't pick him. Like, Kobe Altman picked him. And so what happens is you look at it, they're like, all right, plus you deal with that. You think about the idea of they drafted this guy. He was projected to go higher than what he went, and he just told people, don't draft me. Now, I think it's also funny how Ace Bailey can say, don't draft me. but Proctor say, don't draft me. But if anybody, it's just a weird thing how that people, it matters sometimes, and they think it's cool for some people to say it, but other people can't do that same thing. But they don't have a point guard right now. Darius Garland is going to be out for some time. This is a guy who is a little more size, can shoot. Like you said, he fell to him a little bit. And in the NBA, it's all about the opportunity. Like, sometimes you just behind some people that ain't going to really help you out. They got DeAndre Hunter. They still got Max Strus they be playing at the 3. Mm. They drafted Jalen Tyson in the 1st round last year. So it's a little bit different path to playing as a small forward rather than a guy who's a point guard and DG is out. You need a point guard. Only person ahead of him is Craig Porter Jr. They moved Owen from Ty Jerome, so they got Lonzo Ball, but that means you in the mix. That means you could be seeing playing time. So I think that's the reason why he's a 2nd-round pick, but I don't think he was that, like, a 2nd-round pick that way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He got a guaranteed spot.
I look at it like, one, the fully guaranteed part really speaks volumes. Because if they say we want to give you a guaranteed roster spot, that means they see something in you. I think for him, what's his measurables? How tall is he?
He's between 6'5" and 6'6".
Okay, so that's a shooting guard in the NBA. I think when you look at him, his skill set is shooting the ball, and I don't know what he is on defense, but to me, I think that when you hear people talk about Amani Bates, they say Amani Bates had one skill and he could shoot the ball. But as far as athleticism, as far as defense, as far as playing in the system, he never did any of those things. Well, this kid right here is coming from Duke, where he actually played in this type of system. He was a guy that ran plays. He's a guy that can shoot the ball at a high level. He's a guy that can handle the ball. He is a guy that seems like he gives effort. Defense in the NBA is just straight effort. And for a young guy like him, I'm sure he's going to come in because he's trying to earn a spot, more playing time. And the only way you're going to do that is if I play great defense, if I show that I play good energy. You know, he could be like a Sam Merrill where he could come in and hit some shots. But the only way you're going to stay in and keep earning more minutes is what more can you do? Yeah. And I think with him being young and him being hungry like that, I think that that's going to allow him to, play defense at a higher level. And I think that he knows that, listen, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to be at my spot. I'm only going to get like 2 or 3 shots maybe, so I got to make them count. And I think he's going to do a good job of making them count. So I think that's why, I'm a little more confident that he actually can stick on this roster.
Yeah, I think when we took Amani Bates in, JB in that regime probably had a development plan for him. Whether it was working or not, I'm not sure. He didn't get called up too much on that 2-way contract. Sorry, Mike's yelling in my ear right now. It's really loud when Mike
You shouldn't be on that IV channel.
Wrong thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Channel.
No worries.
Go
But
ahead.
anyways, Amani got brought in with the JB regime. I don't know if that development was going, how JB wanted it. He didn't get called up as much as I think a lot of us wanted to see him. When Kenny comes in, Kenny may not have had the same kind of plan and development plan for Amani. And after this year of having him on there, it makes sense to move on if they have a guy at Duke that they look at, they see that they could fit in, and they went after him in the second round. Like, they clearly went after him if he's telling people don't draft him. And I assume that the guaranteed contract, like everybody said, it's what they want. It's a better fit. And hopefully Amani will find somewhere and get picked up somewhere where he can show that opportunity. I don't want to I don't want to take a crap on Eastern Michigan, but the pedigree from Duke is obviously just better. Like, you can
he didn't start off at Eastern, though, right?
No, he started
off
at
Memphis.
Yeah,
Memphis and then transferred.
So, this is the sad state of affairs, is what's happening here. It's the sad state of affairs that it's July. It's the sad state of affairs coming off an awful postseason not run by the Cavaliers that we are talking about whether a guy drafted 49th is going to play a role. Like, second-round picks in the NBA are complete crapshoots. They are, a 95% chance the guy's going to be a non-factor, Mike, on average?
Well, I'll give you
Most
this.
second-round picks don't hit, but now the last 3 years, it's ticked up a little bit because guys have
So now maybe it's an
back.
85% chance. And what percentage of those second-round picks, even when they do play a role in the first year or two on a team that's trying to win a championship?
Not a lot, but it does happen. It wouldn't be the complete. Like last year, Jalen Wells, for example, was a guy who was a second-round pick. The Cavs actually loved him coming out of Washington State last year. He was taken before they got back on the board in the second round. He ended up finishing top 3 in Rookie of the Year and being the starting 3 for Memphis and being one of their more stable players. Now, Memphis did not compete for a championship.
Right.
But they were the 2 seed in the West had been the 2 seed in the West the previous year and the year before that. Back-to-back years, they were the 2 seed in the West.
Right, but last year they stunk.
I'm going to give you an example.
Ja Morant got suspended.
Go ahead.
I'll give you an example. Yeah. If you are a Summer League aficionado, Summer League game, Summer League counts. You just saw Sam Merrill get a bag of money. What are you talking about? He got a bag of money for you. By the way, go back and watch the LA Lakers in, I believe, 2018.
When they had all them
Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart,
Kyle
Kuzma.
Those guys were all first-round picks.
Hold on.
Brandon Ingram.
Caruso. Brandon Ingram. Zubac.
How many of those
all
guys?
Players.
How many of those guys are second-round picks?
Well, Caruso was undrafted. I'm not sure what Zubac was.
I know, but
Everyone
that's
else
a
was a first-round
rarity.
pick.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
You know how hard it is.
But we're talking about this as if he's not going to play a role in this season's team.
Caruso was getting 20 in the finals.
Zubac was a second-round pick. So
Zubac is probably the best center.
Contribute to this team.
But how many years did it take for these guys to develop?
This is what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Even if he plays a role, it's not going to be for a couple of years. He's not playing any minutes that matter this year.
Mike, you still got that graphic of the Cavs.
I mean, come on,
chart?
let's live in reality here.
I gave you names of people that ball.
I hear you, but those are
ballers.
We could give you
need to see
hundreds
that
of players
depth
that
chart
did
graphic.
nothing that were drafted.
I just gave
this
you-
idea that he's somewhat special
I
because
gave
they
you-
gave him a
Watch
guaranteed
this.
contract
Watch how this works.
is laughable.
You just saw
what-
saw Sam Merrill get a bag of money over Ty Jerome, who was third in the Sixth Man of the Year conversation.
We also just spent
you
last
go-
week talking about Lonzo Ball being injury prone. He could get a chance to get in this
He's
year.
not going to get a chance. Not in games that matter. No.
Well, I mean, the whole regular season
Jalen
doesn't
Tyson
matter.
was a first-round pick, and he didn't play meaningful minutes when it mattered.
Here's the thing.
Of course, if there's enough
Watch this,
injuries,
watch this.
guys are going to play.
If you do not,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Only in Cleveland.
Yeah.
If you do not develop people, we've been sitting here telling people about development on all of these teams. You know what our problem is? We don't develop diddly squat. I ain't said that in years. Nobody
Well, you
gets a
just said they
chance.
developed.
Nobody.
Sam Merrill.
Sam Merrill.
That's great. I like to see it come around even more. Guardians, give me somebody. Browns, give me somebody. Why do we do this? We got quarterbacks. No, they can't play. We listen. You go over there, DeLauder. No. We don't put them in. We got dudes right here that's trying to get opportunity to play, and we dismiss it. Why? These guys can turn into pivotal pieces that can help you. You don't need them for 5 games. That's what you got the big guys for. But you may need to play here, play there.
I'm
Played a
gonna
summer
live.
league game yet?
No,
You guys can live in La La Land.
next week.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying you got to realize it's a long shot that he's going to be a big factor.
for sure.
That's all I'm saying. Not that it's impossible.
Wait, when you
but
say-
again, this idea that he's not a typical second-round pick because they gave him guaranteed money.
I mean,
that has no merit whatsoever.
Yes, it does.
What it does is it means they're going to at least give him a chance.
No, yes, but if they liked him that much, somebody would have taken him at the back end of the first round.
No, if
he
you tell
told
them
him
don't
not to
take
draft
me.
me.
Oh, baloney.
He didn't want to get drafted because I think he wanted to pick where he wanted to go.
That's nonsense.
I think.
I mean,
Do we have any facts to back that up, Mike?
he was telling teams, but I didn't hear he was telling teams in the first round. I heard he was
Of
telling
course,
teams
it's once it got to the second round, maybe.
after pick 41 when the Warriors took Kobe
All the first
Bryant
round picks are
and traded
guaranteed
him,
contracts, correct?
Basically.
Why would the Cavs be his choice? He'd play more on a bad team.
Yeah, he was not telling teams at the end of the first round, don't draft me. He was telling
Right.
teams
Come on now.
between
So let's live in reality. Mike, what are the chances this guy plays meaningful minutes this year? 1%?
No, it's higher than that, but it's
I was about
15,
to say, with a fully guaranteed,
15%.
he not on a two-way deal, is he?
No,
Tyvis.
it's a one-way.
I'd say
They
at least
drafted
that.
Jalen Tyson in the first round. He played 0 meaningful minutes.
Meaningful minutes.
Yes.
That's a different story.
That's
They
all
also-
I'm saying.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They
That's
didn't
a
have the roster spot to give Jalen Tyson when they drafted him, right? They had to
Talking
sign him.
about.
to
He
two
was
way.
on the
No,
roster.
he was on the roster last
okay,
year.
then never mind.
But here's what y'all gotta get, bro.
Yeah.
You
Well,
drafted.
you're right.
I don't know what's happening.
You're more on the right side here.
Of course.
I don't even know what we arguing.
Well, we've
I don't
lost
know.
Mike.
I don't know what we
You know,
arguing.
we're all
I don't know.
wrong.
What are we arguing?
What do you think he's gonna play
G
meaningful
took
minutes as a
G took
rookie?
me through this whole thing. I don't know what we arguing anymore. Is he gonna play a meaningful minutes? Like,
Yeah.
It's
Mike
no,
Pimmer?
he
No,
had-
I don't
saying.
think so.
Hey,
But
hold on.
I'm saying I expect to see him on the floor.
Hey,
That's
sure.
what I expect to see him. That's
like
what I
Jalen
thought.
Tyson was.
I thought that's what we was talking about.
Yes, I agree with that.
I didn't know we was talking about like he
We
gonna
have-
be the starter
no,
or
what I'm-
the
what-
sixth
go ahead.
man. I
Go
didn't
ahead.
say that.
What I'm saying is, why nobody else does this?
What do you mean
Nobody.
nobody else does this?
Does
What does that
what?
even mean?
Like we have this affinity against. Oh no, what's the chances they come in, bro? That's not how it works. When you play the game, you get an opportunity to see a person and evaluate them based on what they are doing today. Not about what you thought they were going to do.
That's fine. What does that have to do with me?
Yeah, we're comparing it to Amani Bates and his chance, right?
See, that's what threw me off, because we was comparing it to Amani Bates. We never saw him, so I thought that's why I said, yeah, he definitely going to get some time.
And my thing is, just because you didn't see Amani Bates does not mean that this guy shouldn't get the opportunity or won't get more playing time than Amani Bates.
No, he will.
I think he will, but ultimately, all I'm saying is he's not going to play meaningful minutes this year and when it matters in the playoff game.
I don't know that.
Most likely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
I didn't know that's what the argument was.
And my argument was, yes, you can get on here and you can say Summer League don't count and we ain't gonna see nothing. But guess what? You just saw Sam Merrill get meaningful minutes.
But also,
but not in his rookie year.
But what does the meaningful minutes mean, though, if we don't think the regular season means anything?
So
what I'm talking about in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not
so
play in the
what I'm
playoffs
saying, I'm giving you a 1-to-1 answer.
Yeah.
Because they said Summer League didn't count back then.
It doesn't.
They said nobody on that roster back then was going to do nothing.
Sam Merrill's 29 years old.
I get it.
What are you talking about? But I'm just saying he's not going to play meaningful minutes as a rookie. I didn't say not ever.
Well, listen, so we've had this conversation about Summer League before. Everybody's like, it doesn't count. They're never going to play. Why are you watching it?
Yeah.
If it did not count, why do you have someone on your roster that's contributing? It does count. It's an evaluation period. It's like saying the preseason don't count.
It does. The preseason doesn't count either. It's an evaluation period.
I mean,
it's not proof of anything.
It is. We'll see him against their other summer league
What
teams.
do you think it means? What does the summer league mean? Like, most of the guys that play well in the summer league don't do anything in the league.
I just gave you 17 names of guys that did something.
You gave 5, but most of them are first-round picks.
No, I gave you 2. One was undrafted, and another dude was a second-round pick.
I know that, but the only thing I'm saying is he's not going to play minutes that matter in his rookie year.
But you
give me a guy who was drafted in the second round and played meaningful minutes in his rookie year.
Draymond Green.
There it is.
In his rookie year?
Here's
the Joker.
Here's what I'm going to give you.
In his rookie year.
I mean, Jalen Wells last year is the best example. Jalen Wells was
awesome. They center didn't get hurt and like the Joker had to play.
So
I don't remember.
I don't either.
If you break it down and say this, Lonzo, we just said when we got Lonzo Ball, what did we say? How many games has Lonzo Ball played in how many years?
70 games in the last 4 years.
Okay, pause. How many games is Darius Garland out next year? Did he have surgery?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to come back in December.
Okay, hold on.
If there's enough injuries, he's going to play.
I'm just showing you how the percentages look. So you tell me you got a guy that's your backup point guard that plays 70-some games in 5 years. You got Darius Garland who just came off a longer injury. Do you want to rush him back because the regular season don't count? No, he may come back later than possible. That leaves you Craig Porter Jr., who was what?
Undrafted.
Thank you. And
meaningful minutes.
And the guy that they just took and gave a guaranteed deal to with millions of dollars. How do you not see the path to him playing?
The only thing meaningful for Bull right here is the playoffs. We don't care about the regular season.
But you're
what he's saying.
Of course, if 4 guys get hurt, he's going to play. I'm not,
he'll play the regular season.
They have?
I'm just saying.
It's
slightly dismissive to say, like, he's not going to play. And I'm like, bro, do you see who's on the roster? Am I crazy, chat?
I never
put it in the chat of your mind. Am I losing it?
G versus Bull poll.
Am I losing it to say that this
The only way he's going to play meaningful minutes in the playoffs is if everybody gets hurt. Which is possible.
Which everybody was hurt.
I hear you.
They stay hurt.
But Craig Porter Jr. still didn't play meaningful minutes.
Did Craig Porter Jr. play in the playoffs? I don't even remember.
No. He got like 6 minutes.
Okay.
And there might have been a reason for that.
Even with all the injuries, he didn't play.
By the way, but then again, was Craig Porter Jr.'s... I'm just breaking it down.
You know how many injuries there need to be for this guy to play in the playoffs?
You ain't got that depth chart graphic?
This is a landslide.
I don't have the depth chart, but what do you want to know?
Who is at the 2? What's the depth at the 2?
Don, Merrill, Proctor. If you want to consider Strus a 2, then Strus is back at 2.
And he plays 2 positions.
Okay, wait, no. So I'm about to do some. I'm trying to. All right, so if Donovan really gonna play the 1. And they would probably rotate. It'd probably be Donovan and Lonzo at the 1. And then they have Sam and Strus. And who was the other guy you say? I'm missing somebody, right?
Proctor?
Oh.
Let's hope he's that 1 in a million guy.
He could be.
That is a factor.
Could be.
As a rookie in the second round.
Tyvis is like,
I'm living in reality where that doesn't happen, really.
that math is mathing.
Duke players tend to do good in the NBA.
I mean,
so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for right now.
Honestly, why Darius is out, that's the best time to play. It's the beginning of the season. It's meaningful, meaningless to you.
Tyvis. When you, this is a landslide. I just keep bringing people. Come on to the fold, Tyvis. When you was an undrafted free agent, people tell you it's better to be an undrafted free agent than go in the 6th or 7th round.
Correct.
You know why?
You get to pick your location.
Because you could pick people on the roster. I'm better than him.
Yep.
I'm coming to get his minutes.
Exactly
He was garbage last year. He's coming in from Duke. You just said he from Duke.
Yeah.
He like, listen, they got Craig Porter Jr. He was undrafted. You know what his weakness is? Shooting. I'm shooting 40-something%.
So you think he's going to play in the playoffs?
This year, no.
Listen.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
And I agree with you.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We got to that point.
I'm so confused. Are we talking about playoffs, or are we going to talk about we're going to see him play this year?
The topic that Mike gave us was about Amani Bates. It had nothing to do.
You know how I feel about meaningful minutes.
Meaningful minutes.
Yeah.
You said meaningful minutes, and you
He's
died.
not playing in the playoffs.
He died on the meaningful minutes.
He's not playing in the playoffs. And he's not playing down the stretch, even in the regular season.
Yeah, in the first couple of weeks, he probably can. While Darius is injured.
Maybe. I think even that's a lot.
I'm reading tea leaves.
Outside of that, no. I'm with you.
I put this up in the YouTube
and let me make
chat.
clear, I'm not saying,
unbelievable.
Guys, I'm not saying he can't possibly become a good player. I'm just saying it takes time. There's a reason he was drafted 49th. There's reasons for it. It's unlikely that even if he ends up being a good player, that it happens right away. That's all I'm saying.
Bull, there's been 100 votes. 81 have voted for G. Just a heads up.
I mean, that's just...
Landslide. It wasn't debatable.
Who's right, Bull or G?
It wasn't debatable. It was a
I
landslide.
didn't even get the live chat.
I didn't even give him a choice.
So 81% of the audience thinks this guy's going to play meaningful minutes this season.
I just said who's
That's
right, G.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
We got other things.
He doesn't even believe that.
We have other things I really want to get to, so we're going to wrap this up. Larry Nance Jr. just wrapped up his comments to the media. We'll talk about them tomorrow.
By the way, that's as bad. I did a poll on my show this morning. Who's better, Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts? Which, of course, should have been 100% Joe Burrow. And 20% of people voted for Jalen Hurts. That's insane. And I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I like him. I think he's actually underrated. But there's no way he's better than Joe Burrow.
No.
And there's no way this guy's playing meaningful minutes in the playoffs unless there's a million injuries.
We'll get there, but we got other things we got to get to. Stuff that we built in for Anthony because he's on the panel. But we got to talk a little more Guardians before we get to those Ant specialties. And we're going to do that thanks to FanDuel. It is America's #1 sportsbook. And with the FanDuel partnership here at the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, we want to feature your winning tickets on the show. If you win a FanDuel bet this summer, whether it's on baseball, soccer, basketball, boxing, you name it, we don't care. If it's a winning ticket, send it in so we can feature it here and give you some love on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you haven't downloaded FanDuel yet, well, we have an offer just for you right now. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started.
Sorry, guys. Mike, I missed your text.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Not that important. We're going to talk a little more Guardians before we get into some Ant specialty topics. But this is something we've tried to ask in the past, and for whatever reason, we just haven't had time on the show. And he did not hit a home run yesterday, Bull. He did have 2 hits, but did not hit a home run. The question I wanted to ask, and I'll start with you, Ant.
Ooh.
Are you over the Bo Naylor experiment at catcher, or do you still believe Bo Naylor could be the Guardians' long-term answer behind the plate?
No, I don't think he's a long-term answer, unfortunately. And this is not my Austin Hedges bias coming out. He's still a better hitter than Hedges will ever probably be. With
everybody is a better hitter.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got 9 home runs this season, which makes him 4th on the team. So offensively, he's not the worst that we have. Playing catcher, he makes too many mental errors. That pass ball on Sunday, I didn't get a chance to see it. I was driving home from Columbus, but it's little things like that he has done consistently this entire season, especially this season, that I don't know how you keep him as your long-term answer for this team when you're looking at Hedges as your backup and him as your starter. I would start looking for a new catcher and maybe make Bo the backup Because if you play Bo not every day, he probably wouldn't look as bad as I think he looks. But I'm very out on Bo right now, unfortunately. And I don't think it has anything to do with his brother being gone. I just think he's in a bad year, and he doesn't have what it takes to be the long-term catcher.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy you say that because I was sitting there thinking, this is his 3rd year up in the majors, right?
Yeah.
So this is 2 years in a row where he's not looked good offensively. But the first year when he came up, that's what they said, right? He was a home run hitter. This guy's going to lengthen the lineup and all those things. And then last year we said, well, maybe he's working more on defense. So, it lacked a little bit offensively. And then this year, it's still the same thing. And I think that I got to go with the 2 years that I've seen over just the one. It's kind of like Jimenez. Jimenez, when we thought his first year when he was with the Guardians, he was this great hitter and all these things. And then the next couple of years, he could never duplicate those numbers. I think when you look at Bo, offensively, he might be able every now and again to get you a nice home run. But when you talk about a guy that's in your lineup every single day, no, he's not going to get it done. I definitely agree with Ant. I'll probably make him my backup catcher. I definitely look for another one. And that's kind of how I would roll with him as well.
Man, I was going to try to come save him, but
how can you?
I don't know. I don't know what you do with him. I'm not a baseball savant.
It's 2 years that you.
This is my mom's favorite player, or one of, and I don't know why. I'm like, you get no return on investment here, Mom. You cheered so hard at the house for this guy. Look, I think he's just he's a guy that should be a backup catcher. I don't think this is crazy. I think his stick was supposed to be his strong suit. Mm-hmm. And when you can't cover up for the fact that you're not the greatest of defensive catchers, then you become a liability, because at that point, you need to at least be good at one of them.
Yes.
And he's neither. So I look at him, and the problem is, if he could just give me power numbers, say for instance, if he was at 16 home runs.
Oh yeah, it'd be a different story.
If he was 16 home runs and batting 202. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If he could cover the bottom of the lineup better,
I would be at least if you get some sneaky power at the bottom of the lineup, where it's if you make a mistake to Bo Naylor, he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's giving me 9 home runs. I need to see that more 15, 16, and then maybe stomachable. But I don't know, Bull. I don't know if he's ever going to get to that point where he's going to be able to deliver you power numbers at a level where you can overlook some of those other deficiencies.
I want Cal Raleigh numbers.
Yeah. Now, Cal Raleigh hadn't put up these numbers till this year, which is his 5th year.
36 home runs, something like that?
Yeah. I mean, he's been good, but not this good until this is his first year playing at this supreme level.
He on the juice.
But most of the top hitting catchers were good pretty close to right away. Guys take to develop. But, I don't think Bo Naylor.
Cal Raleigh's been good the last 3 years. So I just looked his numbers. Well, he's at 30 home runs now in 3 straight seasons, and his second season he hit 27 homers.
Oh,
his first real season. Cal Raleigh.
Right, but if you look at his OPS, it's a totally different story this year from the last 2 years.
Yeah, it skyrocketed this year.
Right, he was.
His rookie season, he had 27 homers and 60.
Yeah, I mean the power's
long term.
If he ever hit that,
what I'm saying is he went from being a good player to being an elite player this year.
I mean, he did have 34 homers, 100 ribbies last year.
I hear you. What was his OPS?
Catcher.
750.
Right, because
I guess that's fair.
He had some big holes in his game.
Struck out a ton.
Again, I'm not saying he was very for a catcher that was already outstanding. But as an overall player, I would have called him a very good player
he
last year.
He finished 10th in MVP last year. So I just wanted to say it wasn't like that.
No. I'm not saying he came out of nowhere. I'm saying he took it to another level.
Okay,
he's taken it to another. I mean,
just want to clarify.
What's the most home runs he hit? 30 before this year?
34.
All right, he's got 36 with half the season
Got 35 right now.
I'd say this is another level, Mike.
I'm just saying.
Well, I didn't say he wasn't good before this year. I'm saying he wasn't this good.
If anybody for the Guardians hits 30 home runs,
we're trading them immediately.
Right.
Now, that's rare. That's exactly what we're doing. The power numbers he puts up are very rare amongst catchers. It doesn't really happen. Bo Naylor, I'm not going to say there's no chance he becomes a legitimate starting catcher because the truth is half the teams in the big leagues have guys that are in the same vein as Bo Naylor, maybe a little better offensively, but not much. There's not that many good offensive catchers. So he probably ends up being a starter, whether it's for the Guardians or somebody else. But the odds of him becoming like a catcher that you want to be your starter, I'd say are very slim.
Isn't David Fry also a catcher?
Yeah,
He was, but he hasn't caught in a couple of years. He can't catch right now. He can't play the field at all until next year.
Dang.
So does Bo look worse because he's in this lineup then? Is that, does he just stick out more?
I'm not giving him that excuse. He's just not. He played great for the last 2 months of the 2023 season, and he hasn't done a thing before or after. There wasn't much before, but the little before and after he's been horrible. He's going to get another opportunity next year because they're not going to spend big money on a catcher. And there's so many holes they got to fill anyway that I think he'll be given another opportunity next year. But I don't ever think he's going to be, one of these catchers like Cal Raleigh, like William Contreras, Will Smith of the Dodgers. But you never know. Like the Cubs catcher this year, their starting catcher is a guy named Carson Kelly. He's a veteran. I don't know how old he is. Mike, look up how old Carson Kelly is. He's in his 30s. And he's having a borderline all-star season this year, and he's never been a good hitter.
He turns 31 next week.
Yeah. What's his numbers right now?
This season, Carson Kelly is hitting .268. His OPS is .879 with 11 homers and 31 ribbies.
Yeah, for a catcher, that's phenomenal. What's the most home runs he ever hit before this year?
18.
All right, he's at 11 at the halfway point. What's his best OPS he's ever had in the season?
.826, the same year he hit 18 home runs.
I'm surprised. What year was that?
19 with the Diamondbacks.
All right, so he had one good year in 19. He's been terrible not terrible, but he's been just a guy for the last few years. And so there are some players that it happens every once in a while, like catcher.
How is that
but it's unlikely.
What's that Sean Murphy guy?
He's not playing full-time anymore.
I know you wanted to trade for him a couple years back.
Yeah, listen, he's going to be available this offseason. They've got a rookie catcher by the name of Drake Baldwin.
We had the Braves?
Yeah. And he's playing, they're splitting time. But they're gonna want Drake Baldwin to play every day next year. So they'll probably trade Sean Murphy, and he'd be an upgrade over.
His OPS is .804 right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. He's still good, but he's not as good as he was. But what's his contract? What's he got left on his contract?
I'd have to find
You go to Baseball Reference, you can find that. But because depending on his contract, I mean, I would love to see and how old is he? What is he, 32?
His contract is for $15 million next year, 15 and 26. It's 15 every year till 2029. So he's got 4 years, $60 million left.
He's not getting old.
He's too old. How old is he?
He turns 31 at the end of the season.
He's a little younger than I thought, but they're not going to pay. They're not paying $15 million a year for a 31-year-old catcher.
The Guardians' contracts be like 7 years for $13 million.
In a pack of quarters.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get to our next. Any last thoughts on Bo Naylor? Other than that,
no, that's it. Right. What else is there to say?
We got two things I really want to get to. These were Ant-specific topics I want to make sure we get to today. Our first one's brought to us by Game Time. Have you ever decided last minute to head to the ball game with your friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got some incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So Anthony is our music expert on the show. He's been to more concerts than I bet the rest of us have combined. I asked Ant to come up with some musical comparisons for some of the current Browns players.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask him musical comparisons for members of the show. I thought that would be good.
Oh, I can do that too.
You can do that on the fly at the end. But
do that.
Ant came up with 7, and he's going to sell them to us, and we have to decide whether or not,
we're buying or selling.
Comparison makes sense, or if Ant's on crack.
Anthony, will I have heard of any of these bands?
Yeah, I tried. So I did my best to keep it as stuff that I knew, but was also somewhat mainstream.
Yeah.
If you should know at least 3 of these out of the 7.
All right.
I can guarantee one.
Is it emos?
It's a little mix of everything. I stuck to my genres that I know the best.
Yeah. All right. Let's just give this a shot.
Yeah,
These
Mike,
are Anthony's Browns to band comparisons. Ant, the floor is yours for your first one.
So, Mike, the first one is Joe Flacco here. So Joe Flacco is Metallica. You know exactly what they're going to be. They're past their primes, but they're still at like an acceptable level where if you go to a concert or you watch them play football, you're like, yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that, and I'm glad he's there. And their retirement's got to be imminent, whatever that word is that I wrote out myself. If they retired tomorrow, I don't think anybody would really bat an eye at Joe Flacco retiring. It'd be sad if Metallica hung it up because they're still performing at quite a level. I just saw them in May.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would be the end of the world for the scene if Metallica decided to stop performing live shows. So that's my comparison for these two.
Yeah. I like that one.
I do too.
That's a good one.
Have you ever had an intimate retirement?
Intimate retirement.
What do you mean? I mean,
spelling's hard. Pronouncing words is hard.
You retire somebody intimately?
when I quit the radio station, we went out for dinner that night.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Was it candlelit?
I was thinking about something else.
No, it wasn't candlelit.
Quit. You took him on a date and quit.
That's wild work. We're done.
I'm going to give Anthony an 8 out of 10
I like
for that.
that one.
My only beef with the Metallica comparison, I think overall it's good, but I think Metallica is higher on the pantheon of bands than Joe Flacco is on the pantheon of quarterbacks. Because they're a Hall of Fame band.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I mean,
So
That's true.
That's my only beef with the comparison.
Most bands, though, that go that long, they're going to be in the Hall of Fame, right?
True,
So,
but Metallica is, I mean, they were like the founders of heavy metal in a way. Like they were the
thrash metal
first,
specifically, yeah.
they were the first big heavy metal band, no?
I mean, it
What
depends
you
on
wanna-
what you define as heavy metal. They're technically thrash metal is where they came out of.
Pantera.
Listen,
Yeah.
Don Bag.
when I was a
Rest
kid,
in
there was
peace.
no such thing as thrash metal, Anthony.
Well, then they invented it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there you go.
if you invent the
Well, you're right,
style,
yeah. That's a
and,
fair comparison.
You know, I just say Joe Flacco, and but your breakdown's good. I mean, I get the comparison, I like it, but
I don't know if there's another band playing right now that you
It's
can compare
tough.
to Joe Flacco
It's tough,
because
yeah.
if they're as mid as Joe Flacco, they're probably not going to
yeah,
go
but
as
not
high.
even mid. I think Joe's better than mid,
Yeah.
but he's somewhere in between Hall of
he
Fame and
seems
mid.
like an emo type. Like
You think Joe Flacco listens to emo music?
Like he
I'm
listen
gonna bet against
he
that.
listens to Soundgarden.
All right,
Ant.
that was
Soundgarden
pretty
might have
good
been
though.
going.
I like that.
He's
I
got
like this
7.
exercise.
Ant. Let's get to your
This next one's going to take a little bit more explaining because I'm sure
Okay.
you guys haven't heard of these guys. But the next one is Deontay Johnson and Asking Alexandria. Asking Alexandria is one of the founders of metalcore in like early 2000s, 10 metalcore. Me and my brother love them. We listen to them all the time. The highs are great. Some of their albums have absolutely no skips. The lows on their music, they're some of the roughest, and it's all because of that guy right there. Danny, their lead, he's got personality issues.
I thought that was the same picture as the Metallica picture.
No, Danny right there has some personality issues, and as of May and
Yeah.
April, they're still playing live together. He's rejoined the band. They've done 2 records together. They cannot get back to the point that they were at before he left the band the first time, and they're trying hard. They've had to issue apologies because Danny's just not even trying to sing at live shows. When I saw them in May, I thought it sounded bad. It turns out he just wasn't even singing. He had a big hood on and just was mumbling into the microphone. And I think Deontay is kind of right about there, a little bit higher than them in his career. He's on his last leg here with the Browns. He's got something to prove. And I think looking at his numbers when he was on the Steelers, the high was high. But once he went and started bouncing around those teams, man, the low was really low. And I don't know if he'll get back to what he was.
I like that one.
That's fair.
Listen, that was a good scheme. That's a good way to tell that story.
I spent 4 hours on this yesterday.
That was dope.
I tried to
I
record
have no
this
problem
topic.
with that.
I'll give that an 8.5 out of 10 because
dope.
I've never heard of the band.
Which is fair. I didn't think they'd be
So,
somebody.
my
you
only
would.
problem with the highs is that Deontay Johnson's highs weren't that high. But then again, I never heard of this
Also,
band.
But right.
The man was second team All Pro.
Yeah, and asking Alexandria.
I think he was. What? Am I wrong on that?
That's kind of high.
no.
That's kind of high, Tyvis.
I feel like he was all pro. Wasn't he?
Tyvis.
Maybe he was a pro bowler. Maybe that's what it was.
What?
You know what?
Yeah.
He was an all-pro returner, bro.
I knew it was. I knew he made an all-pro
Not
team.
as a wide receiver, though.
Hey.
But all right.
I like.
And asking Alexandria, like, if you look at early 2010 metalcore, I'd still put like Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, and things like that above them. But they're right there. Like they're just right there at their.
All right,
I like that because now I got to get in this time machine and look up some of these stuff.
I send Tyvis
some of
music.
this
I'll send
lore.
you some.
That's a-
Emo.
All right.
Yeah, they're
next
a
up,
little bit
Mike.
more emo on this.
All right, this next one, and you're going to have to really sell this one. I like the comp, but it's a rookie.
It is a rookie, but this one was my projection. I think Carson Schwessinger is going to be great, and Coheed and Cambria is my favorite band of all time. So that comparison doesn't really match out, but looking at his numbers and watching his film, he's got a versatile skill set, right? Like, he was good at the rush, he was good at stopping the run, and he dropped back, and he had 2 interceptions against Iowa in that game. I think those were his only 2 interceptions in college. I don't remember. But he can do all 3. He's all over the field. Coheed, they do everything. Their musical style ranges from everywhere. They tell stories with their albums. They have heavier stuff if you want heavier stuff. They've got lighter stuff. Like they have love ballads. They have piano ballads. They have acoustic sets. They kind of do everything. And they are a little bit lesser known even in the scene because they're prog metal is what they count as. And prog isn't as popular as like thrash metal or heavy metal, metalcore, stuff like that. So they're under the radar great. I think he's going to be an under the radar pick that's going to be really good. And the consistency, he played, I had the number, he played almost every game in college, 38 games in 3 years. And Coheed's released 9 albums, I think is their last one. Close to maybe 12, I can't remember off the top of my head. And they're still performing, they've been around since 99.
I'll give this a 9.5. This is right. This is spot on. I love the analysis. Why ain't you got no YouTube channel breaking down bands, bro?
Earl wants me to make a YouTube channel for video games, movies, and TV and music, so I'm working on that. I got to come up with a name. If anybody's got like a fun name for a YouTube channel, let me know, because I'm terrible at coming up with names.
Okay.
I like the comparison, except that he's never done it in the pros.
Which is fair.
I feel like you should compare him to like a college band. You know, if you know any.
Okay, a
Does
local
this mean
band.
Schwessinger has to be your favorite Brown now?
He might end up being. Like
Is it
Don't
because
let them talk you out of your talk. Listen,
No,
this your projection. I'm projecting how I feel it's gonna go.
I mean, if it's basing it on projection, it seems perfect. We'll see.
is he your favorite because he's white?
yes. No.
Now, mind you, look, I didn't say that. That was Tyvis that said that.
Yes,
that was middle.
he was our white draft pick, so I got to get behind him.
That was middle of the road Tyvis. I had nothing to do with that.
I mean, he's a white guy playing a position that not a ton of white guys play. Could be Vanilla Ice.
If you want, there's a lot of local bands that are really good. Off the top of my head, I know I don't know if they're around anymore, but they were big when I was in high school. Lower 13 was a local band that you could probably compare them to because they've never done it on a big stage.
Band names are great. Lower 13.
I can't believe you even know local bands. That's amazing.
I go to local shows. My friend Skyler, the one you asked me about, my big friend, he plays in several local bands. He does photos for several local bands, and he goes on tour, I think, sometimes. Like he's gone to Michigan and Detroit.
It's a whole nother cult.
Yeah, all over the
It's
place.
a different cult.
All right, good.
Yeah, so I know some local
I
bands.
like this exercise.
You ever been in a mosh pit?
Have I ever been in a mosh pit?
Are
I
you
almost
kidding?
got knocked
He
out during
created
Wage
the
War.
mosh.
I want to go moshing.
He's got mosh pit written all over
Yeah,
him.
no, I've never crowd surfed though.
I wanna
I've never
go
crowd
moshing.
surfed. So this next one I'm going to have to explain a little bit more too,
Oh,
because
boy.
you guys have never heard of Ghost, I'm sure. But David Njoku is the band Ghost. I'm going to tell you why. I really want to like them. They're just okay. They got a good mix of skills. If you looked at them, what do you think they would sound like?
Dark music.
Yeah.
They're pop. They're like almost pop
Really?
rock. Yes.
Oh, hold on.
They have very
Hold on.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about now, G.
I seen these dudes on Instagram.
Yes.
And they sound like My Chemical Romance or something.
Almost, yeah. They have very pop metal lyrics
And he sounds
with
they
heavy
look-
metal instrumentals.
Dude, and the first dude looked like some dude off the Jabberwockies or something like
Yeah.
No,
they
you
got-
know who he looks like?
Papa Shango.
Has anybody seen? The only possibility is maybe G. Bush. Maybe Steve, but probably not. Have you ever seen the movie? It was an old kind of horror dystopian movie with Roddy Piper called They Live.
No.
Yeah, they got like
Anybody
a whole
out there who has seen They Live, and if you're probably late 40s or older, was with Roddy Piper was the star of it. And that's what the aliens looked like, was that guy.
This band is actually really good. They got they're good.
They're fun, and like I said, I wish I liked them more than I do. Same with Njoku. Like, I wish I liked Njoku more. He probably should be one of my favorite Browns, but I'm not fully bought in. He's really good at blocking, and he's okay at catching. They're really good at having heavy guitar riffs. I don't think their lyrics, they got a gimmicky thing going on. They're very religious. So it's like, but the highs are high with them too. Like when Njoku's on and he's fun to watch.
They religious?
Yeah, it's a weird gimmick that they do. That guy's supposed to be a pope in his nameless schools. It's weird. It's hard to get into. Their fans are a little odd too. But they put on really good live shows, and I think Njoku puts on a good show when he's on.
And we do, it reminds you, David Njoku is also a ghost. Because he shows up sometimes and sometimes he doesn't.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and by the way, we do know about Ghost because we're trying to see if 50 Cent going to put him back on the show to do a prequel of Power. Season 2 coming up.
Have Ghosts been on Power? I haven't.
All right,
Ghost
next
has
one.
been on Power for years.
All right, the next one is a real easy one. These are all getting a little bit more simple. But Myles Garrett is Avenged Sevenfold for me. Specifically, their lead guitar player, his name is Sinister Gates. They're the best of the best. There's really nobody that can hold a candle to him playing guitar. Listen to any of their solos. Guitar players, if you can learn an Avenged
in the metal world. You're not talking about in the. You think this guy is better than some of the great guitar players of all time?
If you put Sinister Gates against like everybody, he's in the top pantheon. I'd say top 5. Yeah, he's
now.
Up there,
I will admit, you know way more music than me, but I find it hard to believe that some of these legendary guitarists from the '70s, Jimi Hendrix, some of these.
I would make an argument
this guy
for
with
any
some
of them.
stupid name is.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is.
Look, I'm making an argument for any
name?
of them. He goes by Sinister Gates, but they all got weird names in Avenged Sevenfold.
Do not disrespect the Todd McShay of metal bands.
Right.
This man ranks them. He watches he in the film. What are you talking about?
It's hard to have the argument because I tried to keep it
Led
as
Zeppelin
mainstream.
and all these
I would put
great
him
bands.
with them. Now, granted, they're heavily influenced by Metallica, so you could make an argument there. But there's really not a whole lot of debates of better guitar
Jovi,
players than Sinister.
Van Halen. All right, whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
you're right.
that's all I'm saying. That's my
ain't
comp
here.
for that. Mike, you want to go on to the next one after that?
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is Corey Bjorquez. He's Nickelback because there's no reason anybody should like Corey Bjorquez as much as you do, and there's no reason that anybody should like Nickelback as much as we do. But they're unironically one of the best around. They're a fun rock band.
That is perfect.
And he's a great punter.
That's a 10 out of 10. And I don't like the Nickelback slander. I enjoy
I love
Nickelback.
I saw them for my birthday 2 years ago.
I don't understand why people just band up and just said Nickelback was trash.
They're great. They're
It's
fun.
funny that you like them because every other guy like you that I've met that's obsessed
they're
with
fun.
music. Hey, this guy I worked with for many years, you know him, Dave Spano.
Yes.
Oh, I know Spano.
You know Spano?
Yeah,
I thought
he used to do the Browns before
I thought he was gone before.
Nah, he was there.
Dave,
hilarious.
He was our board op for the radio station for most of the years that Dustin and I were on. He's like you, a big music guy, obsessed with music. He hates Nickelback. It pisses him off anytime somebody brings it up.
I understand.
And I like Nickelback.
I understand why people don't get them because they're very generic, like dad rock, and they're kind of.
I like dad rock. I'm a dad.
But they're fun. They put on a good show, and they party. I've seen them twice live. I saw them for the first time when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. And then I saw them again for I think my 25th birthday. They were fun. They were at Blossom. They still put on a good show to this day.
Nickelback 02 was killing everything. Here's why they don't. Nickelback was the first rock that actually got to black people. Like by the time it gets to us, people is checking out. They're like, it's way too mainstream.
Rage Against the Machines didn't get you guys?
Them and what's
Tom
the name?
Morello?
It was to do. What did they do the joint with Jay-Z to mix?
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Yep, just saw them live too in May.
Yeah. Shout out.
I actually don't have Linkin Park on this list. There's not enough good Browns players to use a lot of good bands, so we might do this again with Guardians and Cavs at some point.
Listen,
We got one more before we get to UCSS ranked stuff.
Oh yeah, all right.
Excited for,
so last one is this one real personal for me. You guys probably won't agree with it, but Nick Chubb is Meatloaf for me. He is the first concert I ever saw when I was 11. Nick Chubb's the first NFL jersey I ever bought, and like they might be gone, but they're never forgotten.
Is Meatloaf still alive?
No, he's not. That's why he's gone, but never forgotten.
Jeez.
last single was
he
in
passed
19.
away a while ago. But I love Meatloaf. I love Nick Chubb. And they were what basically got me in. Meatloaf got me into music. Nick Chubb really got me into football. So.
Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. That's like 1993.
Great song.
I was
93.
my 11th birthday. I got to see them perform Paradise by the Dashboard
You know
Light.
when they play the announcer, there's an announcer, like a baseball
Yeah.
announcer. Do you guys know who that is?
You.
That's Phil Rizzuto. He was announcer for the New York Yankees.
Wow.
He played for the Yankees too, and that's him.
How
that
do
was
you-
actual calls.
How do you download this stuff? You'd be like, bro, how did you download?
I grew up, even though I wasn't a fan, I grew up watching I didn't have much choice but to watch the Yankees and the Mets. I loved watching baseball.
I was really happy that I got to see them do the whole
Good.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light
Yeah.
skit. Like,
By the
when I was
way,
a kid. It was fun.
Great job, Anthony.
This was one of the
And
best.
real quick, Earl wants
best-
to know, off the
best
dome,
segment.
do you have an MJ Emerson one? Yeah, 10
MJ
seconds.
Emerson comparison off the dome. Actually, I'd probably put him for Bullet for my Valentine. A band that I really like. They have some hits and misses. Like they've got some up and downs.
MJ Emerson is like a band like the Wallflowers, a one-hit wonder.
Oh wow.
We don't know that yet. He had a really good year and he had a really bad year.
Dang.
Bullet kind of
messed
goes
up.
back and forth. So
Maybe Sister Hazel. Do you know Sister Hazel?
I don't know Sister Hazel. So.
Gee, what were you saying
Band
before
that
we
I
get
know
to our
that you-
last
I know a Sister Hazel at my church. But
That was fun.
hey, but by the way, one of the best
That was a good
segments.
job by
I
you,
like this
Anthony.
segment. I love it.
We can
was
do
good.
this segment again when I just.
Are we going to
produce,
do
so
it?
I don't have to. Come
I'd
out
like
here for
Anthony
this.
to do that again for us.
I can do this for us. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that at a later date. But
Yeah,
we
let's
got
do that
one
another
last
time
thing
so
we
you
got
can
to
really
get
think
to
about
today.
it. 'cause that was That was really well done. It was well
man.
thought out. You put a lot of effort into it.
I like that.
4
That
hours.
was great. That
I
was
was
fun.
working from like 3 till 9 o'clock.
I wish I
so
knew
nervous
more
for
of the
today.
bands, but it was a good job by you,
Now,
Anthony.
now I got to go to
It was
YouTube
an
and watch them.
Ant specialty, and he
I like
delivered. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends to hit the like button. Tell your friends to hit the subscribe button. Help us make UCSS the biggest show out there. All right, guys, we're going to end the show with something fun.
Good.
It's a little segment called Let's Rank This Stuff. Just got a random collection of
That's
stuff
not
we're
what
gonna
it
rank.
said in
All
my
right.
text message.
Yeah, no, we-
Let's rank this shit. Let's go.
That should be. That's it. That's what the title is, right?
That's what I put in the group text. I didn't want to put it on the
It's my first
the
time out here. I
Chiron
can't say it.
Yeah.
But we dare you to disagree with this. This ranges from sports to music
Love
to
this.
food
You guys
to
are gonna
everything.
kill me for some of
We're
it.
going to
Do more of
start
this.
now. We're going to finish in overtime. Let's start with the first one. You got to rank them. Quarterbacks. Allen, Lamar, Burrow.
That's ooh.
Can I start with this one to piss Bull off?
Go ahead.
That's my exact ranking right there. Is Josh the top, Lamar, then Joe.
I mean, that's wrong, but it's interesting.
That
That's-
is
Man,
It's hard. I mean, you could really put them in any order.
my. Yeah.
That's
fine.
I like that order right there.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna flip this first too.
You gonna put Lamar above Josh?
Yeah,
You're putting Burrow third.
I don't want to, but
That's terrible.
I would not have Burrow third.
I got Burrow 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3. I'm saying Mike has Allen 1, Burrow 2, Lamar 3.
It's all preference. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here.
Yeah, the reason I got Lamar 3, and I've always been a huge Lamar fan,
up.
is just he's by far been the worst of the 3 in the postseason.
That's the exact reason.
That's the reason I got him 3. They're all excellent. I'd love to have any of them as my quarterback, but ultimately Lamar's been the worst of the 3 by a lot in the playoffs.
Bull's right.
Any order,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but really,
I'm not
I
mad
could,
at
I
any
could
order.
flip Joe and Lamar and be
I
fine
could-
with
you
that,
could-
but
yeah.
Josh is my number 1.
It's real quick. We're gonna do our quarterback rankings
Yeah.
tomorrow. It's Mahomes and these 3 are the top 4, and there's no argument
I don't
whatsoever.
think there's any legitimate argument.
Jalen Hurts.
No.
Would you be okay adding the 5th? Don't answer that. We're
No.
doing it tomorrow. Don't do that.
All right, next one. Let's see. It's
By the way, the guy who would be 5th, but we can't put him there yet,
Jaden Daniels,
is Jaden Daniels.
who I may have there 5th tomorrow. We'll
If
find
I had to start a team, if you had to start a team right now with a quarterback, not including those 3 and Mahomes, who would you take?
Say
I
that.
would take Jaden
I think
Daniels.
I'd take CJ Stroud.
I'd take
Go
Daniels.
Bucks.
If you had to start a team right now,
Okay.
and
you can't
you take
use-
any quarterback besides Allen, Lamar, Burrow, and Mahomes, who are you taking?
I think I'm taking CJ.
Hey.
Jaden
Daniels.
I'm taking Jaden.
Yeah, I
He
probably would take
This
him.
man, as a rookie, just took his team to the NFC
Yeah.
Championship.
Now he's got. We can't put him in that group because he's done it for 1 year. But and remember, Stroud was awesome as a rookie, and then took a step back as a second year. I think he will go forward again in year 3, but he did take a step back in year 2.
Well,
we got to see.
It's gonna be
Jaden Daniels.
difficult. They got rid of his left tackle. So
Yeah, and their line wasn't that good to begin with.
next category
Next.
here. MLB aces. We were talking about aces earlier.
Ooh.
3 is easy. Now, is this right now?
Yeah,
or
right
is
now.
this who you'd rather have for the next 10 years?
No, right now.
Scooble is number one.
Yes.
No, Skeens
it's
is
easy.
number
Scooble,
one.
Skeens, Freed.
Who would you have put there instead of Freed? I couldn't find a third guy that I thought.
Shohei Ohtani.
No, he hasn't really pitched much.
I'm still taking him as a pitcher. You
I
know
think
what?
I'm putting Skeens above Scooble just because he's younger and he's
Well,
doing
but it
better.
wasn't for 10 years.
No, it's right
Mike
now.
Said,
Right now.
Mike said right
Oh.
now. So you can't. Scooble's better than Skeens right now. He goes
Okay.
deeper into games. Yeah, but for the next 10 years, I'd take
Hunter
Skeens.
Brown.
Okay, yeah. Right now,
Hunter
then-
Brown hasn't been great for long enough.
I just didn't know who else to put in that third spot.
I'm never voting for a
Trying to
Yankee,
think,
so.
I mean, you could put
Zach Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler. You could put Framber Valdez.
Would any of those guys be above the first two, though?
No.
You'd have-
No.
All right, let's get to the next one because we got 20 of these, by the way. So
Yeah.
we're going to do a bunch in overtime,
Some of the
too.
reasons
Yeah.
I look for photos.
NBA superstars.
Don't even ask this question. Come on
Jokic,
now.
SGA, Giannis, the three best players in the world. How
You
would
know
rate
what
them?
it is.
Again, for right now, obviously, if
Giannis,
it's age, you
Jokic,
take
SGA.
Jokic, Giannis, SGA.
Jokic, Giannis, SGA.
Yeah,
Giannis, Jokic, SGA.
I'm gonna take it.
I'm taking Jokic above
Argue
Giannis.
with your
I'm
grandma.
gonna take. I'd take Jokic, Giannis, SGA.
You can't put Giannis out of Jokic. Come on.
Giannis, Jokic,
All right, he did.
SGA.
Next up,
I don't know, man. He just took them that far.
movie trilogies.
I
Lord of
didn't-
the Rings.
I didn't watch Lord of the Rings.
There's been like
Batman
82
trilogy?
Batman. What trilogy?
No, the
what
Dark, like
The Dark Knight?
Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, and The Godfather.
Give me the
I mean, the
Dark.
thing is,
give me
Basically, Mike makes really bad ranks. These is what I.
give me
learned
the
from
Dark
Who
Knight,
ma- who
the
came up with this
Godfather.
list?
This is
and
all
Lord
mine.
of the Rings.
I already had to change one
I mean,
of them.
how do you
but-
put Godfather on the same list with
I
Batman?
don't.
and Lord of the
I don't
Rings?
either.
I mean,
But
I'm asking you to simply rank stuff. I'm
you
not
should have
asking
put
for your
Star
opinion.
Wars with Batman and Lord of the Rings. Like the Godfather.
it has nothing. Yeah, it's
Those
like,
movies don't have. Those
should've-
movies can't compete with The
The
Godfather.
Dark
Well, then
Knight,
put Godfather
Godfather.
number one.
Yeah, Godfather is number one. Lord of the Rings.
Although
I'm gonna say is
Godfather
number
3
two.
was terrible.
That's
but
why I don't want to put it one.
Godfather.
I don't want to put it number one because the three was
Godfather,
terrible.
Lord of the
See,
Rings,
this was a
Batman.
genius thing
For
to
the
put.
culture.
could have put Rocky.
I think
I'm
Like
not
you should
watching.
have had Rocky, Godfather, and then.
Well, if I cared what you thought, I would have texted you last night and asked for your opinion. I
But he
gave
didn't.
you the three.
Damn, Mike.
Rank it.
Godfather, Batman, Lord of the Rings.
Godfather. Actually, I'm gonna go Lord of the Rings, Godfather, Batman.
I'm gonna go to Dark Knight, Godfather, Lord of the Rings.
See, we got three different answers. It's a great list,
I think Batman's a
This
lame
is the
superhero.
consensus. It's the Godfather, then it's the Lord of the Rings, then it's Batman.
I
Landslide.
don't think anybody had the same order.
I was about to say, I think
That's
that
what I'm
was
saying. It's a
did,
good
yeah.
three then.
All right, go ahead.
All right, next one. Best ballpark snacks.
hot dogs is number one. Hot dogs, nachos, ice cream.
Can the ice cream always be in a bowl and not a cone?
Sure.
All right, then ice cream is number two, hot dogs is number one, nachos is number three.
Hot dogs, nachos, ice cream.
I like how you did that. See, that's a 3-course meal for me.
Yeah.
I'm eating all the snacks. Hot dogs, then nachos, then I'm going to finish the dessert off with that ice cream.
Ice cream, hot dog,
Did you get a
nacho.
raise? I can
Ice cream,
afford that when I
nacho,
go.
hot dog. I'm not a big hot dog.
And
gotta
by the
pick
way,
one or
that's
the other.
$45 at the ballpark right
I
there.
gotta pick one or the other when I go.
Right.
Speaking of hot dogs,
Yeah,
we did this. We mentioned this in overtime yesterday.
yeah.
On the 24th of this month. Well, the question we asked in overtime.
Dollar dog.
Oh yeah, you guys missed this
Oh
yesterday.
man.
So the question we asked in overtime: if Joey Chestnut and Usain Bolt were racing against each other, but they couldn't start the 100-meter dash until they finished a hot dog and bun, they had to eat a hot dog and bun and then run, who would win in that race?
Usain Bolt.
Not even close. Joey Chestnut would win easy.
Usain Bolt.
I think Joey would just eat the hot dog
All right,
so fast.
Let's explain again.
Yeah.
Usain
How
Bolt.
fast?
I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Real quick. How long Usain Bolt running the 100 meters?
Like 9 seconds.
11
Okay.
seconds.
No.
Well, he broke the world record at 9.8.
I'm about to say,
So let's say 10.
stop playing with me.
Let's
Are
say
we saying
10 seconds.
9-8.
He's not in his prime.
You talking about today?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
just
today.
tore his Achilles. It would be Joey Chestnut easily.
Oh, well, even better.
Say, if he were healthy.
Why can't they both be in their primes?
No, we're not. We're talking. All right. Still okay. Let's say 10
Usain
seconds.
Bolt.
Actually, it doesn't matter, Bolt.
Usain Bolt will walk him down.
we're
And- and
gonna
the-
do this.
How long
We're
did
gonna
it
do
In the
this.
200,
Let's
he
do-
wins.
let's get
No,
back to the
in
rankings.
100.
We're gonna do
How
this.
long does Joey run a 100-meter?
16 seconds.
So you agree with that?
Sure.
Okay. So that means
He got 7 seconds.
Usain Bolt's got to be within 7 seconds of eating a hot dog. Joey Chestnut can eat a hot dog in 2 seconds, maybe
Okay.
3.
I can eat one in 9.
No, you can't.
you can't.
You think you
And-
can, but you can't.
Where this was going is we're
Yeah.
going to do this on the 24th.
Right.
Jason said he could eat a hot dog in 20 seconds.
I also think
I got video proof of Jason yesterday from his wife eating a Costco hot dog.
In how long?
Was bigger, 1:20.
Yeah, so he.
My point.
Yes.
No chance.
There's no chance.
You give me a normal stadium hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm putting it down in under 10 seconds.
No, you're not.
You're not, though. You're not. And
he's out of his mind.
We're
Yes,
going
I
to do it
am.
on air.
You guys don't know how hard it is to eat a hot dog fast.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to do well. All right, next one.
A lot of pauses. Go ahead, next.
Next one. 25 and under NBA superstars. Ant Edwards, Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham.
Give me Ant one. That order right there.
Yep.
Same order. I agree.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't like Paolo at all, but Ant, yeah.
Same.
I'm going to switch it. I'm going to put Cunningham ahead of Banchero.
You crazy.
I can't put him ahead of it, but I don't like Paolo.
You crazy.
That's what I'm doing.
You crazy.
That's what I'm doing.
Steve, next one. What do we got? Best Denzel performances.
Inside Man ain't even in the top 5.
I took this, by the way.
What?
Yeah, he gave
why
me these
not
3,
like
and I was
Man
like,
on, Why not John Q or Man on Fire?
I took this off an article.
Or Remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans?
I took this from Rolling Stone.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia?
You talking about?
Don't kill me.
You
The
blew this.
Equalizer?
Yeah.
All the Equalizer.
Don't get mad at me for
Inside
this
Man
one.
is third.
Don't kill
Inside
me.
Man.
I took this from the
Listen,
50
Denzel
best.
Washington is great in every movie. All of
Inside
them.
Man is third.
But if you think of Denzel Washington movies, Inside Man is way down the list.
It wasn't what I would have picked. I took this from the top
Training
50
Day,
Denzel.
it's hard between Training Day and Malcolm X.
I'm putting Training Day because I've seen Training Day. I've never seen Malcolm.
I've seen every
Why?
Denzel
Why?
Washington.
And why have you watched Malcolm?
Yeah, why?
Are you really starting this right
Yep.
now?
Remember,
By the way,
Tyvis said that.
By the way, I recently, I don't even know where I
not
saw
buying
this.
you
It
back
must have been on
next time I call
Instagram. I saw on Instagram this commercial from, I don't know, it was the 60s, whenever the hell it was, before any of these guys were anything. And Denzel Washington and Jeff Daniels. You know Jeff Daniels, the actor?
I know Jeff Bridges.
Let me look.
Jeff
Goldblum.
I think it was Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes. I know who you're talking about.
Those two were in like a Burger King commercial together.
Oh, yeah.
Like long before they were famous.
Theater.
He and Denzel just happened to be like two big actors were happened to be. But I'm going
this
Training
is from
Day
a,
1, Malcolm X 2, Inside Man. Inside Man's a
I
This
agree.
was a Rolling Stones article that had that as his third best.
Malcolm
Rolling
X.
Stone
they
has
can
no
roll
credit.
out of here.
From a historical standpoint, Malcolm X is a brilliant movie. He was Malcolm Red, Malcolm Little. If you have not seen it, it is one of the most powerful movies of all time.
It is. I would say, though, that Training Day,
It's right up there.
which I think.
I mean, he did win an Oscar.
I think Training Day, he saved that movie. I think without him, anybody else plays that role, it's a mediocre movie.
He embodied it.
He was
crazy.
incredible in that role.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the best roles I've ever seen anybody play in the history of movies.
I want to do a
Make me want to go
prequel.
back and watch all the movies on the list.
I want to see him.
that.
I want to see him have a prequel to see how he got that way.
Is that what you said?
Wait a second.
I give you
we
one.
also forgot one of his other best movies. Oh my God, we plays the gangster. Who's Frank Lucas?
American Gangster.
Oh my God, how did we forget American Gangster?
Yeah,
They dropped the ball on this.
Dude, he was. That movie.
What's the next?
Just
This one
incredible.
would have been tough to just pick 3 to rank, period.
Next one, Steve. What do we got? Yellow Things.
All right.
By the way,
Sun.
we need to see Denzel Washington in a comedy.
What is wrong
Would
with
you like to
this?
see him in
First
a
off,
comedy?
fun
is
fact.
this?
Hold on. I went down a rabbit hole last night. Did you guys know the sun is not yellow?
It's green.
It's white.
It's white. But no. But the majority of the spectrum
Yeah,
is
it's green. But like our eyes, if we looked at it through a filter, it would be white. I never knew that.
So that's last. Then, on
Yeah,
this
it's last. It's
I'm
third.
still
It's not
picking it
yellow.
first because we're dead without it. Cheddar Cheese 2, and then SpongeBob 3.
Nah, SpongeBob's number 1. I grew up on that. My
Cheddar
grandpa and I
cheese-
watched
Cheddar
every.
cheese is 1, SpongeBob's 2. Nah, that's blasphemy. If the sun is 1, that's the order right there. That's the order.
Nah, SpongeBob's number 1.
All right, next.
You didn't see that coming today, did you, Bull?
No.
Ranking things that are yellow. All right, what's the next one, Steve? 4th of July traditions. Hot dogs, fireworks, pool parties.
I despise
Hot dogs,
fireworks.
pool
I do
parties,
too.
fireworks.
I
went
hate
to.
pool
I
parties.
didn't
I hate
see not
fireworks.
one firework this year. I went straight to bed.
Me too. I
Clearly, we're not
didn't see
invested.
anything.
I'm voting.
No, I wasn't.
10 o'clock hit. Bexley sounded like a war zone.
10 o'clock.
Oh, you know
and
what?
I heard the
Lit it up.
fireworks. I didn't watch
I
it.
I didn't even realize this. We doing the list. We doing this list right now. But shout out to the top 5. Go vote. Go back to and subscribe my channel. Top 5VE. We do list all day. Go search it. Subscribe. Stop playing around. Fireworks are overrated.
Pool party, hot dogs, fireworks. And I don't like hot dogs, but they're still ahead of fireworks. Fireworks suck.
I put hot dogs.
I'm actually with you. I
parties,
can't
too.
stand fireworks. All right, next one, Steve. Let's get it. Pizza toppings.
Pepperoni's one.
You just did that to piss me off.
Yep.
I mean, buffalo chicken, that's disgusting. That should not be
I'm
on
going to go
pizza.
with that order right there, actually.
I made all these
wanted to
graphics.
put
I'm starting to
pineapple
think
on
I
it,
put
Bo,
my
but
order in the
I couldn't
graphics.
get myself.
By the way, I'd eat, even though I would never want to, I'd eat pineapple on a pizza before I'd eat buffalo
No,
chicken.
buffalo
All
chicken
right,
on
whoa,
pizza's
hold
good.
on.
They're both disgusting.
You're
Don't
out of
belong
here.
on
You're
a
out
pizza.
to lunch.
Pizza's good.
And we know.
If I'm out to lunch, I don't eat
That
pineapple or
is-
buffalo
and-
chicken.
That might be your worst
we
take I've
all
ever heard
know,
you say.
even though people keep saying this, I'm still going.
Yeah.
I'm dying on this hill.
Yeah.
Women is not eating no deluxe pizzas. They're gonna roll with their cheese or maybe
How did G
pepperoni.
make P sexist? Or P sexist?
Women eat vegetables on pizza.
Nah, they're not doing it. Hey, if there's more than
Wait a minute.
there's more than 3 toppings, they ain't eating that.
That's a lie.
Guys, we got 3 more. We're going to save the rest for overtime, but I want to get these 3 in for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
Oh, it's sausage pepperoni, and then I'm not even.
Nah, it's pepperoni
refusing to-
sausage.
It's pepperoni sausage.
Good
You tripping.
pepperoni.
But you gotta put them
Sausage
together.
pepperoni.
Put pepperoni sausages in
I like
All right,
sausage.
next
and
one,
hot dogs.
Steve. Not named Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, NFL wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson.
I'm taking them in that order.
See, I'm flipping the first 2, and now I'll take that order.
I'm flipping the first 2 as well.
Flip the first 2.
Lamb's a bigger name. St. Brown's the better producer.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb's stats is just as big as
yeah.
Justin Jefferson in the first 4 years of the league.
I love CeeDee Lamb. I take it.
You're out to lunch. You're wrong.
He literally just had
Next.
like 1,700 yards.
You're
season.
wrong.
You're wrong.
Run them
Statistically wise, you're wrong. Next.
Almon's done it in bigger spots.
That's because CD plays with Dak, and Dak chokes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's rebuttal.
Next one, Steve. Video games. And you
Yeah, this is an easy first one for me, Pokemon. But he had Fortnite on here originally, and I was like, I hate all 3 of those.
That order right there.
Madden.
Madness.
Madden's the only one I've played. So Madden, Call of Duty, Pokemon.
That order right there.
That's fair.
In terms of
And I used to love
in
Pokemon on
in
the
terms
Game Boy
of
Color.
depth,
The new one is so fun, dude.
I need to pull my Switch back out.
I
Pokemon.
just
yeah,
beat the newest
Pokemon is higher
those
than
two.
that.
I played Scarlet.
Call of Duty is way more depth.
Are you got the
Pokemon
Switch
way more
too?
depth.
Yeah,
Madden is the same
I'll bring
release
it
every
Thursday.
year.
I'll show you.
Ah!
Yeah, I'll bring my Switch in Thursday, but the
All right,
new
Mike,
Pokemon game
next.
is great.
All right, last one. We'll do the rest in overtime. Best bowl moment in UCS history. Puking on air, the comedy show, or the DeJounte Murray rant where he popped the blood vessel in his eye.
Pop a blood vessel.
You popped the blood vessel.
I don't even remember the DeJounte
I thought-
Murray.
I don't know the
remember it either.
DeJounte Murray,
Yeah,
right?
I think. the
Oh,
comedy
yes, I
show-
do. Yeah, you was talking about why was he talking about?
I think I've had funnier rants than DeJounte Murray,
But
no?
You popped the blood vessel in your eye.
that was his guy for how we
I
all
did
died
like
on
him,
hills.
yeah.
He died on the DeJounte Murray.
I gotta say though, real quick, the comedy show, you
but
could have told me you've done stand up
Yeah,
your whole
yeah.
life.
The comedy,
It was that
the comedy
fun.
show
Yeah.
comedy show was good. Bull actually got a talent for speaking. He married people. He do comedy shows, and he attacks people on Twitter. It's a triumvirate. It's the greatest thing in the world. Like he got all 3 of them down.
Yeah, I'm going to say the puking just because it was, the comedy show wasn't on the show.
He tried to reach for that bucket.
I had so much fun doing the comedy show, and I felt really good about it.
Hey, Steve, will you drop the graphic and do a
that
wide
fear,
shot?
that-
And
that
can we get
fear.
everyone do their best bowl reaching for the garbage can impression?
Is it back here? It's that boy reach around.
That was rough, man.
We got some more we'll do in overtime.
Yeah.
I got super chats to wrap
All
up
right.
today's show. Ahmed Fadala says, for what it's worth, Anthony should be on the panel again.
Oh, thank you. I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's been fun.
He's more than
Yeah.
welcome.
Nice
Always
job,
welcome.
Anthony.
I like these type of shows.
Stephen Allen Spencer, I believe, it gets cut off, but
hope
Stephen
they're my
Allen
friend, Super
S says, if you like Coheed, you'll like Thank You Scientist.
I've listened to them before. I'm not a big prog metal guy. Like I saw them with Primus, and I don't know. Coheed's like the one that I like, and everything else is okay.
And last but not least, Kevin Miller says Sam Merrill won a championship his rookie year, but he didn't really play. Yeah, that doesn't count. You had to play. Back to our
Who
it
did
meaningful
Sam
minutes?
Merrill play for?
He was on the Bucks when they won the championship.
I didn't even know he was on the Bucks.
cares?
Ask
He
him
didn't play.
Didn't
who
he
the
win
best
the Summer
player
League
is.
championship though? Was he on the Summer League?
He did win the Summer
There
League
you go.
championship. So, Ant, we have a minute left
Sam
before we
Merrill got
wrap
a
up.
ring.
evaluate your own performance on the panel?
That's crazy.
I mean, I had fun. I think my goal today was not to be a detriment to the show, and I think I hit that goal. I don't think I said anything too stupid, so.
I don't think you said anything.
Nah.
Anthony was well prepared.
He was.
Yeah.
I did make a lot
He was
of notes.
well spoken.
He was ready to go.
I don't know if you want. I got
He had a lot of notes.
a lot of notes.
And yet
Steve, what are we doing here?
and he came off pretty smooth.
And that's bullet pointed up.
The good news is he didn't have to spell anything.
That's
I
true.
did
That
have
would
to
have been
pronounce
his
the
name.
name, though, and that's just as hard.
Intimate. Retire intimate.
I retire somebody intimately.
I
That's
don't know how
wild.
you guys do these earpieces. This has been buzzing in my ear the entire
But
time.
you know what the crazy thing is? You didn't even have to wear it because we ain't got a guest.
Yeah, it's true. We didn't. I thought we had a SOT today, though, Mike. Did we not?
We did, but then we started arguing what was a meaningful minute versus what was just a regular minute.
Shout out to Hayden Grove, who will be singing the national anthem at Rocky River Little League tonight for Game 2 of the World Series.
Go Hayden.
We'll see you on overtime.
I guess I can read this.
Peace.